morning, Delaware Valley and beyond. Happy Tuesday to you all. Hope everyone is doing well. It's my first day back, so I can say I hope you had a great weekend and a great Monday. Great to listen to you and Ray yesterday, Amy.
Did you listen?
A little bit.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I wondered if you listened at 10 o'clock.
I did.
Perfect.
Yeah. Ray has a lot to say, doesn't he?
Does.
Ray's
About
other
great.
people taking days off. And
So I wondered if you noticed how we started the show.
yeah. Uh-huh. So,
It's
yeah.
the summer of Bob. There's nothing wrong with it, Bob.
Yeah, I had a day off.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was cool. Had a good weekend. I hope you did too. Hope everybody out there did also. Hope everybody's doing better than the Philadelphia Phillies. Aim, I wake up every day, as I told you and I've said on the air many times, and before my feet hit the floor, I put a positive thought in my head. Something I'm looking forward to, something maybe that already happened, something with the family, whatever. Put something positive in my head to hit the floor. I just...
You got nothing today?
No, I did. Obviously, I did. But, like, when it comes to Phillies or sports...
Yeah. Tried to look for a silver lining in that game last night. It was tough.
It was. I have a couple of them, though, on the front page. So, we'll get to that, so it'll be good. But, Raymond, how are you today? I'm glad you're done bad-mouthing me about having a day off.
No.
All I could think of yesterday, Amy, like, I forget what I was doing when you guys... Oh, I was out back, doing some stuff out back when you guys started the show. And the words pot and kettle just kept coming into my head when Ray was talking about me taking a day off.
No, I was happy for you.
Uh-huh.
I was happy for that's how I show joy.
That's
sarcastic
how you
comments.
He kid because he cares.
Yeah. Well, you need to work on that a little bit, I think, Ray.
A tough love.
Yeah, we'll have to get back to that one. But we can't get to anything until we look at the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Yeah, the Phillies got pounded last night, 14-4 to the Yankees. It didn't start out well. When Aaron Judge goes deep in the first inning, you're like, no. Because when things are going badly and something like that happens in the first inning, air comes out of balloon quickly. If the Phillies were playing really well, you'd be like, who cares? That's one run, no big deal. But you just had a feeling, and sure enough, they get pounded 14-4. Zach Wheeler last night, not very good. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 runs, 3 walks, 3 home runs. Just horrible. The Yankees had 14 hits. 8 of the 14 were extra base hits last night, including 6 homers. So that wasn't good. The Phillies are now 4-9 in their last 13. They're 20-21 since they left that England place. So that's not good. The Mets have gone the other way since England, and the Phillies are 20-21. But whatever.
Still the best record in baseball.
Still have the best record in baseball.
Just
yes,
trying to
they
look for
do.
grasping at straws.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I got to tell you, I understand the people that are very nervous, and we're going to get into all this today. But I also understand the people that say it's a long, long season, and it is. So 41 games, 20-21. That's a little concerning. So we'll take a look at all of that today. You want good news, Aim? I'll give you good news.
Give it to me.
That's why I'm here. Alec Bohm is 5 for his last 12 with 2 home runs and 4 RBI.
I'll take that.
Alec Bohm.
Back on.
That's right. Also, did I have that wrong? For some reason, I have Alec Bohm, but I'm thinking in my head, I wrote down Alec Bohm, but I'm thinking in my head that it's Brandon Marsh.
Yes, it is Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh,
feels right.
When Brandon Marsh started as the full-time center fielder, Austin Hayes on Saturday, that's what it is.
Yes. So, Brandon Marsh is 5 for his last 12 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Mark it down, Ray. 10:05.
That's okay.
See,
I was excited either way.
I'm even helping you. He wasn't even writing it down. I'm even helping.
Because it was an honest mistake.
It was an honest mistake. I have somebody to blame.
Yes, Beardo was done quite well.
Somebody came up and talked to me when I was writing my notes, and so I blame them. Bryson Stott. Here's some more good news. No, it was way earlier.
Okay.
Bryson Stott's 6 for 12. 6 for his last 12 he is. Uh-huh.
Much needed.
Much needed, yeah. So there we go. You want some more good news?
Yes, I do.
How about the Braves lost last night?
That's always good.
So they're still 8.5 games behind the Phillies. The Mets won, though. They're only 9 behind the Phillies, half a game behind the Mets. As I said, the Phillies in their last 41 games are 20-21. The Mets in their last 46 are 31-15. So So they've made up quite a lot there. Tonight, Garrett Cole, 3-2, 5.40 ERA. He gets his 8th start of the season. He got beat up his last outing. He goes against Aaron Nola, who had a decent 6 innings last outing against Minnesota. Tomorrow's a 12:35 game, and the Yankees are going to throw lefty Nestor Cortez out against Christopher Sanchez. So you have 2 lefties going tomorrow. And let's not forget, 6 o'clock today, the trade deadline ends. So if anything comes up with these Philadelphia Phillies while we're on the air, we will bring it to you, and we will analyze it. Eagles, first day of hitting today, Aim.
Finally got the pads on. Let's go.
It was funny. I was thinking of that as I was coming in this morning. And I'm like, can you imagine going through a week of any other sport and not practicing something?
It's like basketball with no ball.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What is it like? Is it like...
I think even when they have their pads on, it's not... I mean, these guys aren't going full bore anyway.
I know, but...
At least it feels more like football for them, I would think. Yeah, I mean, I talked to Barrett Brooks about this, and he's like, no, it doesn't feel like football until you put those pads on. Because it doesn't. It just feels like a walkthrough.
What does it equate to in basketball? Would it be... it's not...
A walkthrough.
What's it equate to in baseball? Batting practice?
Yes. Yeah, because there's not really any other aspect of it.
Hockey, what? Is it not with no skates?
Just skate around.
Or no skates. And you just practice like passing the puck around?
Yeah, like you have your tennis shoes on and you're just like sitting in the back of the arena. I don't know. I don't think there is an equation to it for hockey.
It's crazy. And I know a lot of it has to do with the Players Association agreeing on how much hitting they can do. But you're not practicing a major part of the game, something you do on every single play.
When I remember a couple of years ago when they would have some trouble with physically just tackling properly, and I thought maybe if you put those pads on just a little bit sooner.
I can't imagine.
Like the actual art of tackling.
I was thinking, I don't know why it hit me so hard today when I was driving in, but I'm like, oh my God, they took the field last Wednesday. They've been practicing, and they haven't even tackled yet. They haven't put on the pads yet. It's amazing to me, but they do that today. I do want to get into some of the things that Nick Sirianni said yesterday, particularly when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Because, listening, us talking and all, I don't know if we've given Jalen Hurts much thought. We've given it thought, but we haven't talked about it an awful lot. And apparently he's having a terrific
great
camp. So that is good to hear. Your 76ers, they officially signed this morning. I think the email came out around 8 o'clock. Guard Reggie Jackson, veteran guard. So you know what? Yesterday, they texted me, and we're going back and forth, and they said, you know what? How about that Reggie Jackson comes on your show tomorrow? So I said, that'd be great. So he's going to join us around 11:15 today, hear what he has to say about what he thinks of this team. I thought it was pretty cool. Tyrese Maxey, I think the morning show might have played it. Tyrese Maxey was on a podcast and was
not just any podcast,
just glowing. Yeah, who was it?
Paul George, Podcast P.
Oh, it was okay, and they were talking about how great of a fit it all is, and so I generally hear excitement coming from all involved.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get in. All right, the Olympics.
Woogie.
U.S. women's basketball team, they crunched Japan yesterday. I watched a good bit of that.
Yep.
They won 102-76. They're now 56-0 since 1992. So they're looking for, I think it's their 8th straight gold medal.
Yes, it would be.
The U.S. men's gymnastics, they win bronze last night. First medal they've won since 2008. I got to tell you, anything about sports that's clutch, I love. They had some really clutch performances last night.
It starts and ends with pommel horse.
Yeah?
That guy.
Is that the saying in gymnastics?
That's the only thing.
The guy with the glasses?
That's the only thing. He went to Penn State. It's the only thing.
I saw his mom had the Penn State hat on.
He does. He goes over there. He waits. They had a countdown clock. We're like, well, when's Steve coming out? Is it time for Steve? It's like going to your closer in the 6th.
Oh, is that right? See, I didn't.
It's like, oh, we need Steve now because we got to get like close to a perfect score.
I had it on, but you know how sometimes you're just not fully listening,
right.
And I was reading and doing stuff. And they're like showing him do like all these little things over there,
like
and he's doing circles, and I'm like.
He literally hung out for like almost an hour waiting for his turn.
Yeah, and nobody's talking to him. And then one time it looked like he was sleeping.
It's just like it's like going to your closer.
And that's what he did. He closed it out.
He needed a close to a perfect score. The best is as he's finishing his vault or his pommel horse. He could see a smirk start because he knew he crushed it.
He nailed it.
Yeah, and I was like, that's amazing. And then puts his glasses back on and goes up to get the bronze.
Yeah,
I
he's like Clark Kent Superman. Takes the glasses off and boom, here it comes. Yeah, so there you have it. There's the front page. There's what's going on in the Philly sports world and beyond. That's weird. I just got like a really bad neck ache since I started sitting down in this chair.
Well, it's because you were off yesterday.
What's going on? Amy backed away. It's not contagious, Amy. You're okay. I said I got a neck ache, and she started scooting away from me. I'm like, I just thought maybe,
it's not contagious. I just meant like maybe the angle because you we obviously talked to each other.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe the angle, if I angled better and you didn't have to
I'll have to do some stretching during the break.
Give you a better
get this thing all straightened out. So when things were going well with the Phillies, I think we said it more than a couple of times. Like, okay, it can't stay this great. We brought up last year only 4 teams played over 600 baseball. And the Phillies were having around 700 baseball. You know, we did the thing, if they only go 500 for their last 100 games, they'll still end up with, such and such wins.
97.
I think we were all, having fun with it, talking about it. We were hoping that wasn't the case, that, the reality is this is a 650-plus winning percentage team and blah, blah, blah. Well, now the time has come. They're 20-21 in their last 41 games. So the question I'll ask you is this. Is it possible that they're closer, that this team will wind up being closer to the team that started the first, 80, 90 games of the 80 games of the season? Or are they closer to the one that's played just 500 ball over 41 games?
No. I don't think they're the team that's played just over, what is it, 20-21?
20-21.
So just under 500?
Just under 500.
I don't think they're that team at all. I don't.
Now, I agree with you. Now, 41-game landscape.
It's a large chunk.
It's a large chunk.
There's also some mitigating factors in that with the JT Realmuto, obviously Trey Turner missing parts of that stretch there.
He came
those are pretty big pieces. Now, granted, I thought JT was a bigger absence than Trey Turner. They did fine in the early days of no Trey Turner, but you're having guys scuffling that hadn't been scuffling before. Bryson Stott, obviously all year, he's had a little bit of struggles. He's come on recently. Castellanos came on a little bit during that time, but you're having guys like Kyle Schwarber who had not been struggling. I know he had, 2 home runs the other day. He's had some home runs, but he has not been getting on base to the clip he did in the first 80-plus games, certainly not batting overall in the first 80-plus games, how he has during this little stretch. And I feel like that is one of the things that I thought for me, he does set the table, and not just because he's the leadoff man. He is a leader in that clubhouse. So when he's struggling, it sometimes can kind of leak its way through. But I thought his struggles and then the absence and a little bit of struggles with JT have been one of the more emblematic reasons for this, a little bit of a skid.
Now, I remember I said to you that, Bryce Harper at one point, I said, he was in a bad habit. And when he was hitting the ball and there was, it didn't seem like it was going to get through, or he didn't like his bad habit was he would put his head down and not take a strong first step. I said that out loud. I said it on air. I said it's something that you can break, and sometimes you get in habits. He looks off to me. And now, it started back then. I thought, all right, bad habit. He's not, breaking out of the box. But, I don't know what it is. And it's just me. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But, the play in the field on, I believe it was Friday night, Aim, where they had the rundown, where the guy gets picked off first.
Yeah.
Why didn't he throw the ball to Stott? Stott's standing right there waiting for it. And then he decides, now I'm going to throw it to Turner, who was late covering second base. I don't know. That seemed odd. Some plays in the field seem odd. He had a
good play at first where he stabbed it along the line.
Yeah, made a double play on that one. Yeah. I'm not saying he's playing bad. I'm saying something to me, just me, seems maybe, I don't know, just a little off. And then on Sunday, was it that he fouled a pitch off?
Yeah.
And waited a couple of seconds and had a one-word
yes.
Talk with himself, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good way to say it.
I don't know.
Do you think he's pressing?
I'm wondering. I don't know. And I don't want to speculate, is there something going on in his life? I'm not. Something just seems a little off to me when it comes to him, and I'm not sure what it is. And I could be totally wrong.
He takes a lot of responsibility for this team. I think he views himself that way. And so I'm not going to say he doesn't trust his teammates, because I think he does. But when you are the leader, I think you do put a little bit more impetus on yourself to get something going. You're scuffling as an offense. You want to try to do as much as you can. You're the best player. You're the leader. You're seen as the guy, so to speak. And out there defensively as well. Yeah, the rundown thing was weird. I thought, just throw it to him. And I thought, do you not trust him to catch it?
Yeah, that was odd.
He's going to catch it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe you just thought, I don't know. And then a part of me is just relax, Amy. He's played first base 20 minutes longer than you have, so calm down. But I thought that was kind of a little bit of a mental lapse. It's he just didn't think first, and they thought, maybe I'll just throw it to Trey.
It's almost
which is fine, whatever.
Yeah. It's almost like the way I'm looking at it is he shouldn't be happy that they're 20-21 over the last 41 games.
No, and he said that.
To me, he doesn't seem happy out there. And look, does that just come with winning and losing? Sure, I understand that. It's easy to be happy when you're winning the way they were at the first half. But yeah, I don't want it to carry over to any players, especially your leader, in that, yes, that first step out of the box isn't always 100%. I mean, you can't start jogging two things down and then a guy bobbles it at first, and it's oh, man, if I only would have run. That should be learned right away. Just little things like mental mistake, whatever. I don't know. It's just something that's in my head that I'm keeping an eye on, and I don't know. But I've heard all the correlation between Phillies and Eagles, and look what happened to the Eagles. Is that what's happening to the Phillies? So I'll ask you this. I don't marry the two because the two seasons couldn't be more different with 162 and 17. But I will ask you this, and it was something that Brian Westbrook brought up to us when we talked to him our very first show. And I asked him about the Eagles and if last year can come back to bite you at all. As much as you use it as a tool to get better, can it come back to bite you? And Westbrook said, and Ray's brought it up an awful lot, correctly so, Westbrook said, yeah, if things start to go bad, those memories are going to come back.
No,
what I'm saying is the way the team's playing now is awfully similar to kind of like what happened to Arizona, where the bats aren't coming through. They're giving up clutch hits as opposed to getting them. Do you think, those memories come back at you similar to what Westbrook said, that, hey, if it starts happening, yeah, those memories come back quickly?
Yeah, I think that probably there's some instance where they've thought in the back of their mind, but I don't know if I would go directly back to the NLCS. But for each player, it could go back to something for them. Like when if Castellanos goes on a bit of a bad streak, then he's like, oh gosh, this is just like the beginning of the season for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you could have that. I don't know that these guys are thinking about, because the NLCS was so different. It was the postseason and everything. It all went sideways. I don't know. Maybe they've certainly, the one thing I did like, and I think we talked about it last week, how we hadn't heard from Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber extensively during this kind of skid right now, or whatever you want to call it. And we did hear from them. We heard from Bryce and then Schwarber last night as well. And I thought, well, at least that's better. And people are calling, maybe they should have a team meet. These guys, they meet enough. They certainly, I think that they talk.
They hang out together.
Yeah, there's plenty of that. But to your point about having any kind of inkling that comes back, I think that, I don't know if it goes back to the NLCS, but certainly I think it could go back individually for each player, whether it's a pitcher or a hitter, or if you're in the field, that could snowball. This is just if Alec Boehm has a couple of bad plays at third, does he go back to the time he was really struggling at third? That's human nature. Of course it does.
Right.
I think that that's just a natural thing. Anything that's going on in your life, it's going to be affected by something that's happening in the present. You can't forget those memories. It's just hope you can learn from them. But I would imagine that this does harken back for them, whether it's the NLCS, I'm not sure, but it does harken back probably to another point in their career where they've struggled, where Kyle Schwarber has kind of struggled to get on base, or Bryce Harper has struggled at the plate. His last, six games, he's 2 for 24.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm not an expert, but
I think you are.
That's pretty.
When it comes to
math.
2 for 24, I think you're an expert.
So I think that he feels that, and I think when you're looking at what he's trying to do at the plate, he turned on some pitches that they wouldn't have been pitches that I think he would have, if he's going well, he wouldn't have tried to.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we could say that the beginning of the season, everything was going right for the Phillies. The pitching was. We were having not arguments. We were making cases for 3 or 4 different players maybe being the MVP of this team. We were making cases of There's nothing wrong with this team right now.
No, we're fine.
Now it's going the complete opposite way. There's really nothing that we can say is going really well right now for the Phillies, but it's just this. So my question that I'm going to put out there to you today, love to get some conversation on this, 610-632-0975. Has your confidence kind of been lowered with your Philadelphia Phillies right now because of the way they've played, let's say, over the last, few weeks? If it has, tell us why. If it hasn't, why not? Now, it can't be as simple as, because Soto stinks now.
Okay.
Now, you know what I mean. Like, look at this long term. Look at the big picture, and where are your thoughts? Are you worried about this Phillies team because of the recent struggles, or are you more one to say they'll be okay? It's 162. They'll turn this around. They're too good not to. Love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. Also, Nick Sirianni did talk yesterday. Want to dive into a little bit of some of the things that he had to say. Also, as we said, Reggie Jackson from the Sixers is going to be joining the show around an hour from now, around 11:15. He has a press conference, I believe, at 11. So once he's done that, they're going to call in, and we'll get to talk to Reggie. All that and a whole lot more. This is Middays. Amy Fadul with us today. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, everybody. I got to let you know at the 10:30 hour that the 10 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. How did Ray do with the hourly sponsors yesterday?
He missed one.
What?
He missed one, and it was like deja vu when he said, "Hey, Amy, remember that 10 o'clock hour?"
You're stealing my stuff from the program, huh,
so
Don?
Great. But he did get it at 11, so that was at least somewhat close.
Okay.
I wanted it to feel like middays.
It did. It did. I felt right at home.
Supposed to have a similar show, Bob, and I did.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Ray. You know I appreciate you so much. And it was fun listening to you guys yesterday on the day off. Went out and had a nice lunch. Can't say where because we went somewhere that my one of our kids wants to go to, and we haven't taken them there yet. So we couldn't even tell them. It was so funny. We felt like two
That's
little
such a
kids.
bad feeling.
So I can say this because Tommy's in his program right now. So our son Tommy, who has autism, we have a which I've told you. It just explains the story. A Tommy's Tavern opened by our.
That's where you went.
So he calls it my tavern.
Of course he would.
Yeah. So
I would too.
So one day I went to pick him up from his program, and he's like, "Dad, go to my tavern," and I'm like, "Sure, I'd love to go to your tavern. Like, do you have one?" And he's like, "Yeah, go to my tavern, get something to eat." And I'm like, I'm not figuring it out. And I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, like he's got a spot.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's of age. He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He thinks alcohol is yucky, he tells me. But we've tried. We've tried to sneak him a couple of times, but he
Just to
gets
see.
it. Yeah. So yesterday we went to lunch, and Donna was like, "Let's just go to Tommy's Tavern." I'm like, "Yeah, are you sure?" And she's like, "Oh my God." And then we pulled up and she started feeling guilt.
Yes.
She's like, "No, we should go somewhere else."
You're already parked.
And I'm like, "All right, what are we going to drive around and then run out of time? Like, let's just go get something to eat." And then sure enough, we found out somebody was in the shopping center at that time because it's a huge shopping center. And she's like, "Oh my God, I hope they didn't see us." And I'm like,
because they're going to
"Well, just
say
stop."
something.
Like, what, they're going to call Tommy and tell
Hey,
him
Tommy,
that we
I
went?
saw your parents at Tommy's Tavern. They
Yeah.
went to your tavern without
they
you.
didn't take you. So I know we couldn't tell them what we did yesterday. So I know we're sneaky, aren't we? Sneaky.
Now you're going to have to
bastards we
pretend
are.
to go there for the first time.
Wow, this is so cool.
I wonder what they've got on the menu.
Well, just to get another day out or night out, that's what I said to Donna. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, we got to take them soon because,
We
I
liked
might
it.
slip.
We're going to go back. Yeah.
I might slip up, so we'll see. Pat in Blackwood wants to talk about the Phillies. Pat, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys, great show. Amy, you're a doll. I
thanks,
love your
Pat.
show on the shows.
Thanks.
Before I get into the baseball a little bit, we're just talking about the autism. I'm telling you, you're blessed to have a child that has autism because they're the greatest kids in the world.
Yes.
They really are.
Yeah,
And I did some work for Charlie Weiss at Notre Dame.
Oh, okay,
His daughter Hannah and friends out there, and they're great people.
Yeah.
Just great people.
Yeah.
All right, talking about the Phillies. I've been around baseball. I'm 81. I've been around baseball for 71 of those years. I played in it, coached in it, did all kind of stuff. And I think the Phillies they did what they had to do in the beginning of the year. They beat the lesser teams. They got a great lead. I think they're getting a little tired. The pitching staff is getting some injuries. It's, Wheeler can't throw perfect games every time out. I mean, come on. And I just think they're in this little slump, and I think they might be pressing a little bit. I've got a theory on Bryce. I think Bryce came here to win a championship. He's put a lot of pressure on himself. I do think around this trade deadline, everybody's making these, they should get Robert, they should get that. Well, the owner of the Phillies has spent an awful lot of money. And people don't realize, give him $30 million, give him $30 million. Well, they can't do that all the time. The only thing I seen that I felt that they were, and I'm not taking nothing against this kid Hayes. I think he'll be okay. I think he's a roll-rounded ball player. But I thought, I always wanted them to get this Rooker kid because of his bat. And I said, and you hear, he can't field. Well, if he can hit like that, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's the only thing I was saying.
I think the A's, Pat, great call. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Take care of
Pat.
yourself, buddy. I think the A's have come out and said that they're probably not interested in something I saw all over the weekend.
And trading Brent Rooker?
Right? Yeah, maybe you saw it, that Rooker might not be out there for them.
I've shut down looking at Rooker stuff because even if the A's aren't interested in dealing, I'm not interested in taking.
We've decided we are not going to platoon the DH situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, good move. What was your guys? We didn't have a chance to talk about this, and it just came out on Friday. And I think Bill Colarulo actually had it pretty good when I left here on Friday driving home, and he's like, I have a feeling, he said, that they're going to make Hayes the everyday left fielder, and they're going to start platooning center field.
That's what
And I
Dombo
was
said,
like,
literally.
Yeah, but it was before it even
Oh, yeah,
came.
no,
I think, yeah.
and that's what's so funny. When he came out, everybody's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so Ray's over there shaking his head for those of you on YouTube that can't see it. I didn't know. We haven't had a chance to talk about it.
He does
I
not
didn't
like
either.
this.
I was like, whoa. Now, here was one of the reasons why. We talk about, well, you can't stand down Stubbs and keep Marsh on because, you're messing with things there. Do you bring in a guy, make him your starting left fielder, and you say to Marsh and, you're a rotating center fielder? Does that mess with the vibe a little bit?
That's what we said.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I mean, that's what I said. I was like, how did that conversation go with Brandon Marsh? And also, what about this 10-day kind of you got 10 days?
Yeah.
10-day trial period type of vibe? And that's how I took it, like a 10-day tryout. Am I wrong on that, right?
No. I mean, the 10-day window is a weird window to give, but this might sound
Who
weird.
Who gave that? I must have missed that.
That was, I think, Thompson that said it was 10 days, where we're going to try this out for, I don't know why you give it time.
Like 10 days, I think it was 10 days of all left field Austin Hayes,
right?
And just to see how it goes.
Which is dumb because then in 10 days, we're going to be asking him the question of, okay, what is it now? But this might sound weird coming from me, but to hell with the vibes on this one. Like, it's not even a vibe question. It's a question of, you had this plan with Rojas, and Austin Hayes is the one that makes you throw away this plan? Like, Austin Hayes is the one that steps in. It's like, well, now we're not going to see what happens with Rojas. So you ask Rojas to hit 230, hit 240, and play great defense. Okay, that's where he's at. We had a chance to get the best offensive output from left field, and instead you're sticking a guy out there that's hit 204 against righties this year, and you're platooning two guys that hit better against right-handed pitching. Rojas is hitting 250 against right-handers this year. He has reverse splits. A platoon does not play to his strengths. That's not what he is. So I don't know why this would be something that we think, oh, yeah, you're not getting the most offensively, you're not getting the most defensively. To me, I just don't get why you're going with the Hayes everyday plan. When they traded for him, immediately that felt like, okay, great, left field, all set, all good to go. We're going to have a guy that sees righties really well, a guy that sees lefties really well. Every once in a while, you want to throw Marsh out there in center? Sure. But I don't think it's defensively the sound plan in center field. And I think offensively, I don't think you're getting enough out of that plan to justify doing it.
Yeah, if it was a huge name, a bigger name, I should say, than Austin Hayes, then yeah, you're probably like, okay, I understand giving this a try. A huge bat or like a Rooker, something like that. Then you say like, okay. But yeah, my first reaction was, whoa, seriously?
Yeah, I just want to know, what was that conversation like, Brandon Marsh? Like, hey, good news is you don't have to platoon in left field anymore. The bad news is you're now platooning in center field. And he's a fine outfielder. There's nothing. He's a good left fielder, Brandon Marsh. He's an okay center fielder.
Yeah, and it's exasperated by the fact that you have a really, really good one.
That's right.
In Johan Rojas. Now,
He's a good
because I
center
never
fielder.
heard talk about Marsh's center field play.
No, it's okay.
Until Johan Rojas came up.
Yeah, it was fine.
Exactly, right? And now it's gotten way worse. Simply because you got Johan Rojas
a
here.
guy who covers everything, and that wonky kind of jutting out thing that Dave Montgomery put in out there, and that's obviously he's familiar with it, but he's a left fielder, and I just don't know why they're. And then when Rob Thompson comes out and says, we're going to try this for 10 days. And he didn't say, like, at the end of 10 days, we're going to do this. But to Ray's point, at the end of 10 days, now we are going 10 games. We're going to be like, okay, well, you saw it for 10 games.
You're the one that put it out there, not us.
I'm sure maybe the timeline was kind of loosey-goosey or whatever. But at the same time, the mentality was exposed as, is this more of a tryout? Are you just going to see this? And at the end of the 10 games, is it going to be, yeah, we're going to go back. We're going to leave Rojas out there, and we're going to go back and we're going to make the ultimate left fielder. We have one guy that's good against right-handed pitching and one guy that's good against left-handed pitching. We're going to combine the two, and it's going to be Austin Marsh.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
Yeah, so I was. That did surprise me.
I don't know which.
An awful lot.
Who gets top billing? Maybe Brandon does.
Yeah, I'd give it to Brandon.
Okay, Brandon
Hayes was an all-star.
All right. There you go, Austin Marsh.
Yeah, no, but still, he's family. Brandon's family.
Brother Brandon.
Austin could be the best-looking guy in, like,
Brother
Marion. So, no, he still gets second billing.
So Brother Marsh
blood is
gets
thicker
top.
than anything else, yeah.
So there we go, Brandon Hayes.
So I was surprised at that, and Ray, I was anxious. But, Ray, the question that I put out there, Is your confidence wavering when it comes to the Phillies? And that's a question we have out there for you right now. 610-632-0975. Where are you? Like we said that they couldn't stay at like the 690 level that they were playing at. But they've fallen to 20-21 in their last 41 games. Ray, is your confidence wavered, or is it as simple as, no, it'll be fine. They'll be back?
No, my confidence hasn't wavered. It's obnoxious. This baseball is getting really frustrating and annoying to watch on a nightly basis, which is kind of a shame because for 90-something games, this was your best friend every night that you couldn't wait to see. And for the last 2 weeks, it's been like, all right, we're going to try and recreate the old times here. And you go there, and it's just that person that, you used to be so fun. What happened to you?
I swear, and I'm trying different
You
things.
used to be so fun.
I am. Like, I've
Do we all
done
not know
different,
someone like that?
different
Yes, we
Phillies
do.
hats for games I've done. Last night, I was like, I started watching the game outside. They got down. I went inside. They started to do a little bit better. Then as I was walking back outside, the 3-run triple happens. And it's like, it doesn't matter where I am. I have no play in this game. I don't know what to do. You're right. I mean, I still look forward to the games, but it's like, oh man, I'm going to see her again. It's like, oh God, I got to see her again, or him, or whoever, I don't know. But that suggests a little bit of wavering though, Ray, even if you don't want to admit it.
I don't think so. I'm still looking forward to the games.
It's not as fun, but
I'm still looking forward to the games. I'm frustrated while I'm watching the games. Like last night, the 3 home runs early on. It's like, they're still stuck in this. Like I'm expecting them to get out of it. I mentioned yesterday, I had the numbers of the average and on base for Turner, Harper, and Schwarber over this, what was at that point a 12-game stretch, now 13-game stretch. Not good. The average for those dropped, but Schwarber saw the ball really well last night, and he had the 2 home runs on Sunday. I'm thinking he's probably going to pull out of this soon. I looked at Harper, and over the last 13 games,
143 or something?
143 in the last 20.
3 weeks or something?
Yeah, last 3 weeks.
I'm
but
sorry.
Yeah.
I tried to take a look at, okay, what can stick here, what can't. He's still hitting the ball. Hard hit percentage is still what it's been pretty much all season long. His batting average on balls in play is somewhere in the 100s, where it's been 305 all season. So some of it, luck's bound to change here. Long season, ball's not finding the ground when he hits it. He's missing a couple of ones that I think he obviously thinks he should be getting. We're all watching, think he should be getting. And I'm not going to start to freak out about Bryce Harper. I remember the last time we did that at the beginning of the season, he responded with a 3-home run game. So I think I'm going to give Bryce Harper the opportunity to work himself out of it. And yeah, if Zach Wheeler's going to give up a ton of home runs to an AL team, we're going to be in trouble in the series. Like, there's some things that are known commodities that are not going well for this team right now that I'm willing to wait and suggest the larger piece of evidence for those players is going to work itself out.
Okay.
This 4-9 stretch, we've seen Ranger get 2 starts where he clearly wasn't right.
Yeah.
We've seen Wheeler pitch one of his worst games as a Philly. We had Mercado pitch one of those games.
Your bright spot is Tyler Phillips right now.
Right.
Yes.
That's cool.
Quite the
Works for
It's
me.
awesome. It is cool. But it's way down on the list of things that you need to be bright about this team. All right, when we get back, we'll take your calls. Those of you on the line, hold up. We will get right to you concerning this Phillies team. I also want to take a look at what Nick Sirianni had to say yesterday concerning someone, because I just don't feel like we've talked a lot about this during the week of Eagles training camp. We'll get to that and a whole lot more. This is Middays. Amy Fadul with us today. Bob Cooney, Ray Dunn producing. 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Worst day of the week, but that's all right. We'll get you through it. It's what we're here for.
But
it's what we love.
It's Monday for you,
to
though.
do. Yeah, it was funny. I was driving into work today, and I'm like, breeze. I leave the house same time every day, but I was like, oh, good. I'm being nice and early because it's Monday. There's going to be no traffic. And then I was like, oh, no. There's traffic because it is not Monday.
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. If you had a day off to take, Friday or Monday to have the long weekend, which one would you rather take?
Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm not there a little bit. Thanks, buddy. I'm not there a little bit. I'm Friday. Because Monday sucks because you're just looking forward to, or you're not looking forward. You're just saying, I got to go back to work tomorrow. Everybody's already there. Like, it doesn't feel like an extension.
What do you mean everybody's already there?
Well, on Fridays, it's like you're waiting for everybody to get home to start the weekend. Like, my weekend already started.
See, I love Friday so much.
I should look at it that way. But I would, if I had my druthers, I would rather have Fridays off than Mondays.
See, Mondays, if I have off, then there's no Sunday scaries of like, I
don't get Sunday scary. I love Sundays. I did I used to have insomnia on Sundays only really badly when I was in grammar school. Like scary, scary bad. It would drive me nuts.
That's interesting.
Oh, God.
Why just with that's elementary school?
Sundays,
like
I guess. Yeah, going back to school.
First and second, third, and fourth.
I used to lay up in my bed.
It's like the most fun school time of all time.
I know, but I used to lay up in bed and I would hear Action News and my dad. And then when I heard my dad go to bed, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm still awake and my dad's going to bed. And I'd be up till like 2 in the morning. It was horrible.
That's terrible. That's a lot of anxiety for elementary school.
I had a bad upbringing.
No, you did not.
It was tough. It was a tough one. But you know what hasn't been tough? Nick Sirianni spoke yesterday, and he said a lot of really interesting things. And, I like to hear what they have to say and have my own judgment, not like to harp on anything. But he talked yesterday about, and it's something I don't think we've heard enough. We heard, who did we have on last week? Sangaro? Dave Sangaro, who said he looked fast when he was speaking of Jalen Hurts. A lot different than last year. That's something that we talked about in the offseason an awful lot, Aim. You and I were saying that, if you look at highlights from a year ago compared to last season, he was a different quarterback as far as the legs went. But Nick Sirianni had this to say about Jalen Hurts yesterday.
Yeah, I think he's looked really sharp. He's been in complete command of the offense. I've really liked that, some of the plays that he has where it's not obviously you've seen him on the deep ball, the intermediate, the short passes, but some of the ones that I really like is that there's a little bit of a pressure. He slides his feet and he hits the Saquon on a check down or Kenny on a check down. So I think he's had a really good camp so far. I'm really excited for him to continue that. There's ebbs and flows in camps, and he's been on the high end for the last 4 days.
Love to hear that.
Yeah,
I really do,
been
because
on a high.
We can try to hide it and talk about the questions on the defense and where's the depth on the offense and who's starting in the secondary, all of those things. None of it matters unless Jalen Hurts is playing good football.
Correctamundo.
And it appears, Dave Sangaro talking about how much better his legs look as far as being fast, being quick. What Sirianni said there, the thing that stepped into my head more was sliding in the pocket and throwing the football.
And do a check down.
To a check down. Oh, yeah, and it's to a guy named Saquon Barkley.
That, to me, that was the first. Well, and we had heard Dave Zangaro spoke about the quickness and the speed with which Jalen Hurts seemed to be playing with at these training camps. And I think I'll be interested a lot today because they'll have pads on for him to have that same speed. It just lets you know, one, you knew he was off last year. A lingering injury and whatever else it was, something was definitely off. And I think the scheme had something to do with it as well, probably a coupling of both. But then the decision-making, I feel like, is the next kind of step to get back to 2022. If you had like a box that you need to tick off different things, you're getting back to the comfortability with the offense is certainly one, getting back to his speed and quickness, the two different versions of that. Speed is one thing, being quick is another. And then the decision-making and the reaction time to do that, I think, is the other thing. So when he's talking about those things mentally, I'm thinking, all right, well, these are the things that I needed to hear and hopefully see in order to think he's going to be closer to 2022 than 2023.
And he also hit on what Jalen Hurts is bringing in the running aspect of the quarterback position also.
the things that we're doing in the quarterback run game, there is a lot of similarities of the things that we're doing from last year, and then there's also some new wrinkles that we're able to have. And so I wouldn't say it's been a huge change as far as the quarterback run game goes, but there are definitely new wrinkles and new ways to get to things and new ways to hide things and new ways to disguise things. And when you hide things and disguise things, kind of like what we're doing right now, the points change sometimes. The way the math plays out changes sometimes because the defense has to react to the motion or to the shift or to the different formation or different personnel group that we're in.
I love it. Now look, you're usually only going to hear good stuff,
Right?
We're a weekend
Unless you're Vic Fangio, and then you just hear everything.
Yeah, which is cool too. Absolutely love that. And the Kellen Moore stuff on your show on Saturday, I listened to. That was great.
Yeah.
You're going to hear mostly good stuff, but this is undeniable. Like, you can't hide the quarterback. You can't say, like, he's been great, and then all of a sudden when people get out there and they're like, no, he doesn't look good. From all reports, Jalen Hurts so far just looks extremely good in training camp so far, and it has to begin there. It doesn't end there. It has to begin there, but it doesn't even closely end there. And we've heard different things about who's in the secondary. We're hearing different starters. We're hearing Quinyon Mitchell might be in the slot. A whole lot of things going on there. So a lot of moving parts going on with your Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll take a deeper look at it later on in the show. But our first question is out there, and I have one of my answers is, how much has your confidence wavered on this Phillies team with their recent struggles? Now, maybe it's not a lot, and if it's not, why? Maybe it is a lot. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. 610-632-0975. We had a guy, Brian, on the line who dropped off. His topic was that he wanted to move on from Bryson Stott. I was anxious to get a reason as to why that. But maybe you have a reason that your confidence has wavered with the Phillies. We'd love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. o'clock here, middays. So glad you're with us. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you can stick with us as we got a lot of fun, interesting Phillies, Eagles, Sixers talk as new Sixer Reggie Jackson's going to be joining us probably in about 15 minutes or so. Let us know what his thoughts are on this team as he joins a new look, very much a new look team this year coming up for the 76ers. We heard Tyrese Maxey speak on the Paul George podcast yesterday about what a fit this is. Hey, you got the best big man in the game? He goes, you got me, guard. Yeah, that's all. A guard.
Glossed over himself. Yeah, I'm a guard.
A guard. I was waiting for him to say all-star guard.
Yeah, like most improved
honestly,
player, like anything.
Yeah, anything. Give us a little something on yourself, Ty. But no, that was cool. And then he says, oh, yeah, and then one of the best wing players in the game. So exciting times, and Reggie Jackson joining the Sixers, officially signed this morning, having his press conference now, and is going to join us when he's done his press conference. We're talking about the Phillies a little bit today also. Talking about where are you right now? Where's your concern level? Ray talked about, going to watch on TV doesn't have the same luster right now as it did quite a while ago when it was like counting down the hours. Ooh, 8 hours till the Phillies start. Well, 6:40 starts. I know Ray doesn't like that, but he was looking forward to the starts nonetheless.
He's really going to love tomorrow.
He's 12:35 tomorrow.
I think you're missing what I'm saying with the enjoyment here. I'm looking forward to watching them. It's you just get that feeling of, they're not out of it yet.
Not out of the skid?
Like, not out of this skid.
Okay.
Like, you watch those first couple
It's
homers.
a little bit of the luster.
All right.
I look forward to 6:40.
Sure,
the problem is what's happening like at 7.
Right.
Now, you have an interesting thing going on tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You're going to be at Citizens Bank Park. You are going to be rooting for the Phillies.
With his family.
You have somebody in your group that is going to be wearing a Yankees jersey.
I think. I don't know, jersey, shirt.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Some kind
hat,
of
something.
some
Who
kind of
is this fraudulent person?
Whoa.
No, all I know is you said to me you were going with a Yankees fan. You didn't tell me who it
Too
was.
strong.
You don't speak about my mother that way.
Too strong. I know.
It is your mom. I would never speak about your mom that way. I didn't know it was her. Oh, that's tough. Now, will you make? How many of you are going? 4 or 5?
5 of us.
Will you sit as far away from her as possible?
I'm thinking she's probably going to sit in the middle of everyone. So I'm thinking.
Protection on both
yes,
sides.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Huh. That's different. Will she be very vocal?
No, I think at this point she's lived out in here long enough where she'll have her moments. She's not going to be standing up screaming in people's faces. She might,
she wouldn't do that anyway.
Right. Yeah, but she might, a little fist bump here. Probably more jokes at our expense if things don't go our way. And justifiably so, because if it goes the way of the Phillies, it's going to be a tough evening for her because it's going to be 4 times the number of jokes that she can make by herself.
I like it. Well, I root for your mom tonight that she has a pleasant experience. I do not root that she has a winning experience.
Correct.
Yes. So, well, it's funny. Al on the cell now. He was at the Phillies game last night, and he wants to talk a little bit about those Yankees fans. Al, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yeah. Amy.
Yes.
I see that they pulled your buddy out. He said they're going to wait on him later on. Remember we had the contest? You had the contest, I think it was yesterday, the day before, who we were going to pick up. And you had, I forget the 2 players, well, the 1 player.
Oh, Luis Robert and Tanner Scott?
Yeah. Well, they're pulling back on Luis, right? Because
yes.
The White Sox, they want to wait until off-season so they can try to steal more for that fraud. But that's okay.
That's right. I think you called him the worst player. Did you call him terrible?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of his.
I could tell.
The fact.
Al, I could tell.
I worked there. I worked down in. I'm a host or whatever. But so my section, I was embraced by Yankee fans all over the place. And to be honest with you, I mean, they were okay. I mean, I'm a baseball purist, so you can wear whatever color you want. I love the game, but if you act nuts and you're belligerent and you're nasty in front of the kids, then I'll deal with you. But you can root all you want, and for the most part, I mean, we just didn't show up.
You worried about this Phillies team right now, Al?
No, just a little hiccup. Everything's a hiccup. I mean, again, I was telling them, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. So we got a little hiccup on the road. I mean, everybody's going to wake up. I'm not, I'm not scared at all. I just feel that we're going to get it together. My boy from Lumberton, Tyler, is going to come back against Seattle and show his stuff. I mean, where the heck, Preston Mattingly, he knows what he's doing. Picks a kid that was with Texas for 8 years, and the minor system brings him up here, and look what he does.
Yeah. Al, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. Good stuff there. One of the things Al said, minor blip. It's only it's a quarter of the season that we're talking about. You know, the 41 games that they're 20 and 21. All right, it's a quarter of the season, no worries. But then he goes, you just got to get back to Tyler Phillips.
That's where we're at right now.
That's
the stopper.
where we are right now.
He is
yeah,
the stopper.
And look, I'm not laughing, making fun. There was something about him the first day I saw him pitch, and I was like, I don't know. He's got some composure thing going on that I really, really admire, and he's shown that out. My God, was he fun to watch on Saturday. That's
why baseball is amazing. How can you not be nostalgic and romantic about baseball when you have something like that? A kid that grew up in the area.
Romantic?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, I like that.
You can't be? You don't think
yeah.
You've never heard that quote before?
No, I've heard it. I like. It's funny when I have heard it before, and I've had the same reaction.
Oh.
Like a romantic to a sport. I love that.
Yes, you can wax romantic about a sport.
Yes.
I thought that was a very nice moment. I don't want to say it again.
I thought it was the turning moment.
Lovely.
I thought it was, okay, 8-0 Phillies win. Shoo!
They win
they're
the
out
middle
this,
parts of these games. They win the middle game of these series. They haven't won an opener of a series since the Dodgers. It's July 8th.
The last series that they won was the sweep of the Dodgers. It's just
No, that's not the last series. The last series opener they won was July 8th.
Then they won a series after that, and they haven't won since, I don't believe.
They lost the A's, the Pirates, the Twins, and the Guardians.
Yes. So
not that I've been counting.
So I kind of ask, and you don't want to get carried away with it, but look, 41 games is legitimate.
Yeah.
What's the most concerning things about the Phillies for you right now? Because I'll tell you mine. Everything, and I mean everything, was going right for this team when they got out to be the first team with 50 wins, best record in baseball, almost 30 games over 500, a 10-game lead on the Braves. We're sitting here having discussions about who the MVP is, and we had 4 different ones. Who's the most important Philly? We had 5 different ones. Who's this? All on a good side. Everything was going good. Do you have a concern? Well, it might be the third left-handed arm coming out of the bullpen, right? Aim, we had that exact conversation. We said, oh, my God, listen to what we're talking
about. And Larry
about.
was like, what? Why?
Right. Well, listen to what we're talking about. The third left-handed arm in the bullpen. Well, now things are a little bit wonky. And this is what makes me a little nervous and happy at the same time.
Yeah,
This is weird. Everything went right at the same time. Everything right now is not going right. Like Al, our last caller, just said, if you want to get things right, get to Tyler Phillips. Probably your 25th guy, 23rd guy on the roster. Your hitting's not
3
going
weeks
well.
Never even thought about Tyler Phillips.
So your hitting's not going well right now. There's nobody that's can carry this team right now. Your fielding isn't very good right now. We've seen multiple things go on in the field. Your pitching, starting, has not been going all that well, Tyler Phillips aside. Wheeler has shown some stuff. Nola's had a rocky 2 out of 4 outings. We know about Ruiz. Wait, Ranger Suarez.
There you go. We found the guy.
I found it.
We found him.
And, none of that is going all that great. Now you go to the bullpen and you're like, ooh, Alvarado is still a little, and Strom's given up some runs, and Hoffman has. So everything seems to be going wrong at the same time. That's my biggest concern. Is this team contagious to each other? It's both a concern and a like. Are they contagious to each other like that?
I do go back to it's just baseball type of thing, and Ray had some good numbers, and I looked him up even further because there was a lot of really good teams that are vying for either they're in the lead or had they one of the best records. They've all gone through skids like this. The Yankees at one point, it was like the end of July to the end of June to beginning of July. It was like really poor.
Bad.
Bad. Like 3 for 10 over 13. And you could expand it, I think, even further than that. And it was a really poor stretch because things kind of snowballed for them. That's to say that obviously things they've stopped snowballing. And the Guardians had one. The Orioles have certainly had one. You're all looking, the Dodgers. for whatever reason, it just seems to sometimes compound. I think that's given the fact that there's 162, and when it's so, everything is so interconnected in baseball. In basketball or football, each game is its own entity, and I think baseball is the type of sport where it's not.
Right.
The series might be separate, but they can tend to roll over because you're playing them so back to back to back to back. So things have a tendency to do that for me. So I'm trying to just channel that in my mind when I was watching that game last night, and the game just became ridiculous. It became like the theater of the absurd when you see Garrett Stubbs out there pitching. I'm like, okay, well now this one's obviously derailed. But when Aaron Judge hit that second home run, I thought, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and
Of course he did.
I hate this feeling, and this is baseball. And Ray, I want you to expand on this too. Like I said, Judge comes up in the first inning, and it seemed like a weird swing to me. Like he kind of like, all right, I am swinging. Like a quarter of the way through, he's like, yeah, I'm going to give it a, and he hits the ball 400 feet. But like, I don't know, a month ago, it would have been, oh, well, the Phillies down 1-0, no biggie. Last night, I found myself going, no.
I thought when they had,
let's not start back.
I thought when they got back 3-2, I thought, okay.
I didn't.
All right.
That's
didn't?
funny. No,
I did
was
think
thinking of that
I thought,
too.
all right, this is better.
I didn't feel in that game at all last night. Never at one point. But
Well,
Ray,
you were right. And I was
no,
definitely-
I'm not saying I was
but you
right.
had
I'm
the
just
wrong-
saying
the
how
right
I
feeling.
felt. Yeah, you can't help your feelings, and your feelings aren't always right. You know, that's just I never felt in that game last night. But like the extreme, Ray, everything was going right for a very long time, and it was great. Everything seems to be going wrong now. Is that just baseball, like Amy's talking about? And that's a great answer. Or is there some concern that should be had there in that, wow, if one goes bad, they all go bad?
It's a boomer bust group. Right now,
what it is?
they're not booming. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like we're seeing. A lot of people are throwing their feelings about the end of last season into this stretch right now. And I understand. Like, the bats have gone cold. You have not gotten the hits with runners in scoring position that you're looking for. I understand why you feel the way you feel in that regard. The issue is that's kind of the way they're constructed. Like, to get the real great highs that you've had so far, you were going to have some of these lows. And also, it's not that different from everyone else in the sport. I think it was Todd Zalecki that put out there today that of the 16 times the Phillies have gone to the postseason in their history, 14 of them have had seasons that include like a 4-9 stretch with what they're going through right now. Like, it happens. Part of what you're watching, part of what's frustrating you on the minuscule level is a way they're built and just part of this team's makeup. But a lot of this is just the sport, is just how it happens. And I understand we're kind of conditioned as a fan base to think the woe is me, like everything's falling apart. But I would caution you, the calendar still hasn't been flipped to August. We remember 2 years ago, in September 2022, we were fielding phone calls of what's the point of even going to the postseason. This team has shown you they can catch fire, they can get that light, they can get moving again. It's a bad stretch in July. It's a bad time to have a bad time when you look at the teams on the schedule. Like, the Yankees are going to punish you in a way that maybe the Rockies wouldn't, but it's all going to be okay. It's all a part of the sport.
Mr. Wisdom over there. I love it. The most mature person in that studio right now.
This studio for sure.
Yeah.
Unless someone else is in here. Did anyone pop in?
You make me feel better there. Like, even if we look at it this way, the New York Mets were 24-35, 11 games under 500. I think they were about 15, 16 games back of the Phillies. Since then, they've gone 31-15. Like, inexplicable, right? I mean, the Mets stink. I have a cousin who's a huge Mets fan, going back and forth with him. He's like, I'm done with this team. Look what happens. 31-15 is that turnaround. Yeah, you're right, Amy. That's baseball. Like, that's baseball, and hopefully that's what just this is. All right. I just got a text from the Sixers. Reggie Jackson will be joining us sometime after 11:30, right around 11:30, a little bit after his press conference is running a little late, so we'll take our normal break and go to that. But we have some text messages, Ray, you say about the Philadelphia Phillies. What may they be?
Yes, some people chiming in on how they feel about this group. We got an unnamed texter in PA. Oh, here we go. Dave from Philly saying the whole team is forcing things and certainly has some mental errors.
Does it seem like they're pressing? Because
Bryce Harper seems like he's pressing.
That's surprising, isn't it? When you talk
I
about
watched his at-bats last night, and I thought he would not have usually swung at certain pitches that were a little out of the zone or out of what his usual kind of MO is. He did get a hold of that one, went to the warning track, and you thought, oh, but he still he kind of went and got that. I know he's not always going to get the best pitches. That's because he's Bryce Harper. Usually he makes the most of what he does get. And the last 3 weeks at this point, it's just he's been, I think, just reaching a little bit more than you've seen him in the past.
And it surprises me that there's some pressing going on, not only at Bryce Harper, but the veterans you have in this group, like the JT Realmutos, Trey Turners, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. I mean, those are veterans. And pressing, as much as we say, hey, it's all part of the season, you would think veterans like that would know how to get out of it a little bit better. It was brought up today. I think it was Brendan Petrilli brought it up about Schwarber walks last night, walks the bases loaded. Trey Turner comes up. Now, look, there's two thoughts of thinking. When a pitcher walks a guy, he wants to get ahead of the count. So the next batter's probably looking for a pitch right down the pike and be ready to go. Turner comes up, gets a breaking ball, low and outside, way out of the strike zone, and he's there swinging.
Because he was looking fastball the whole way.
He probably was, but aren't you good enough to see that that's not that? And,
I don't know.
Okay, 1-0. Those are the little things.
Especially when you see it come that much closer, and you're like, oh, nope, not a fastball.
Yeah.
Not down the middle.
Yeah, and
that was not a good episode of how many runs they score in this inning.
No.
That was we did not have a very successful episode of that at work.
No, not at all. What other text we got, Ray?
We got Brandon Nashville saying, we're in a slump, but it's the beginning of the second half of the season. Everyone needs to chill.
All right. I was honest to God, I would respond to that okay, but it's not that easy. Okay, but I need to see better pitching. I need to see smarter defensive play.
I need consistent hitting.
Yeah.
That's my.
It's not as easy as that. Just to say.
The thing is, I think the defense will come around. I don't have any qualms about because I think some of that can snowball from some offensive struggles. Struggles at the dish can sometimes carry over into the field. So when I think about kind of a blunder, well, you shouldn't have thrown it to this guy, or you should have stepped on the little things like that don't bother me because that's when I do think that they're going to come out of it. But obviously getting consistent starting pitching, consistent bullpen from everybody in the bullpen, not just Jeff Hoffman or Strom. And then for me, most importantly, if I had to rank them, it would be consistent bats. Yeah. Good at bats.
Yeah. And
quality at bat.
Yeah, I know the morning show talks an awful lot, and John used to talk about it when I was with him about your plate. How does he label it? About their
plate discipline,
plate approach, their approach to hitting. That is. I kind of, he goes against it. They don't think up there. They have horrible approaches when they come to the bat. I look at it you have a lot of free swingers. I think Nick Castellanos is a free swinging type of guy. I think Trey Turner is a little bit too. I think he's up there looking to hack. I just think they have a lot of those guys. And I'll tell you who's become better at it is Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think he is. I think we've seen improvement. You can say, oh, he's just that guy that hits you 40 home runs a year and, he's at the leadoff spot. No, I think he's improved as a plate approach kind of guy. His
on-base percentage, and it's not just because of walks, but his batting average and the way that he is sitting. There's a reason he, they're not talking about as much, oh, my gosh, can't believe this guy's still leading off because he's been able to hit the ball. We joked we would call him Schwarber singles because there was a time there it was he wasn't hitting home runs, but he was getting on base because he was singling all over the place. And you thought, what's happening right now? But that's why his batting average was higher this year to start than it was in years past.
Yeah, so I think we can take away from it. We're not overly concerned, and I'm not saying we're approaching that, but there has to be a level of worry or concern, however you want to label, whatever the lesser of those two is, worry and concern. That's where I would put it. All right, when we get back, no, it's not Reggie Jackson who hit a bunch of home runs in baseballs. We're getting a lot of people on our YouTube page going, oh, good. Wow, Mr. October's joining the show.
Yes.
No, it's new Sixers guard Reggie Jackson. He played at Boston College.
Correct.
Yeah. He'll be joining us. He has his press conference going on now, but he's going to join us when he's done that, hopefully around 11:30. We have a lot more to go through with you today. Hope you stay with us. Can't wait for the rest of the day to play about until we get to the best show ever. Amy Fadul's here today. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. 11:30 here at the Fanatic. Thanks for joining us. Reggie Jackson, the new 76er, will be joining us shortly. We've been talking Eagles, Phillies. Where are you as far as the Phillies go? Because, I don't know, there's some people that are panicking a little bit. There's some people that are a little worried, maybe a lot worried. There's a lot of different things going on, not a lot of it good right now. Now, you can look at it that way. Yeah, it's just not good right now. Or you can look at it like, ooh, is this a preview of things to come? Are they more towards the team they were at the beginning of the season than they are now? That's the hope. Is it truthful thinking in that, yeah, this team is too good? I think they're too good than a 20-21 record indicates over a 41-game period, but they have to prove that to us. Look, the season's all about proving things.
Boom or bust. And as Ray said it, they are not booming.
They are not booming at all. We have some more Phillies texts, you say, Ray, concerning this subject?
Yes, we do. We got unnamed texter check, and I'm not worried because baseball always has been and always will be about being hot at the right time. We're not at the end of the season, so if we're going to slump, now is the time. As long as we get hot going into the postseason and are able to sustain it a little longer than we did the last two seasons, if we're hot, we know no one can beat us.
That's true.
Yeah, I like certain things always ring out in my mind when people are talking or saying some whatever. If was the word that I heard loudly there.
Yeah, if. Well, that's obviously the big question.
Sure.
If. But I think that it's funny. We talked, it was the very beginning of the season, and we're sitting here, and it was Kyle Schwarber. They had lost a game, I think, 5-3. And he said, the thing is, we always expect to win. We expect to win every game, no matter what the score is. And because they were winning these games. And even when they would lose, it would be 3-1, 2-1, things like that. And they thought that, all right, well, at least we have a chance. I wonder if some of that feeling hasn't been eroded a little bit, because you said it last night. You thought, 3-0. There's no way.
I just didn't have it, and I didn't like feeling that way.
But I think that you're not alone in that. I think that that's probably a more common refrain than it was, back early July, where you're thinking, you're down 3-0, no worries. So
that's exactly how I used to feel. Yeah.
So I think there was definitely, for me, I thought, that's not great. And then it was 3-1. I was like, okay. And then it was 3-2. I thought, all right, now we're back. And then, of course, I was completely wrong. The wheels fell off, both with Wheels and the offense as well. So I thought, but I wonder, mentality-wise, not that they're ever going to say something like that out loud, but if mentality-wise, if it's not like, all right, we got to get that mindset back. We got to get that mojo back of like, we're in every single game until we're not.
Sure, because you feel it. I mean, if you're covering a team, if you're around a team, if you're a fan of the team, you feel it. Like, I didn't want to feel the way I felt last night. I really didn't. I didn't want to be sitting there watching the game going, yep, nope, not feeling it today. They're only down 3-2, but I didn't. I was like, nope, I don't have that feeling, because it did. It popped into my head. If this was 3 weeks ago or a month ago, whatever, I would have been like, forget it. They're coming back in this one.
Right?
Yeah. But you had Zach Wheeler on the mound.
And that's the thing. It was the game. It was the last Guardians game, I guess it was, where who was that? Garrett Stubbs came up, and Ray and I were talking like you couldn't have pinch hit somebody because you had Kyle Schwarber and then Trey Turner. I thought if you got at least somebody on base, you could get something good happening or get something like positive, with a hit. And, Chief Fives officer did not really come through in that situation. So I am still in the mindset of like, all right, if you can get certain people to the plate, good things can happen. It's just those people sometimes aren't as, I don't know, reliable. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah. And I couldn't help but relate the two. And I brought this up earlier, that when we had Brian Westbrook on, the very first show that we had, Brian Westbrook came on, and one of the questions that we posed to him was, Brian, can last year creep into this year at all, or is that just totally wiped away? And he said, oh, sure it can. If things start to go badly, and if it's, either plays or a play or whatever, that remind you of last season, oh, yeah, it can creep back in. Then you marry that to what Larry Boa told us at the Brian Dawkins golf outing, where he said, it's a long, long season. There's going to be ups and downs. You shouldn't worry too much about it. And Larry Boa also said that they have a chip. The team has a chip on their shoulder because of what happened last season. Now, when you bring up the last seasons, Westbrook says, hey, the badness can creep back in. Boa talks about having a chip on the shoulder. Well, why do you have a chip on the shoulder? Because last season ended badly. Does that creep in? That's what I wonder about. I don't worry about it, but I do wonder about it.
Yeah.
when those games ended last season, the pitching wasn't going well, the hitting wasn't going well, nothing was going well as a team. So you should be able to overcome sometimes bad pitching. You should be able to overcome bad hitting at times. Is this an extremist team the way Ray labels it? Boom or bust? And if it is, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I have to live with it. I've lived with this team as when they were booming.
That doesn't sound confident. I have to live with it. I have to live with it.
That's like, you hate the team because of how they are, but you loved them for how they are.
Yeah.
You take the good with the bad.
If you don't love Met their worst, you can't love Met their
See,
best.
there you go. That's what I was looking for.
He's good. He is good.
Thank you. I was searching for that.
I will give you. We have more. Any more Phillies text, Ray?
Yes, we do. We got we got Brian in Collegeville checking in with, here's my issue with the Phillies. Earlier in the year, if they fell behind, I wasn't concerned. Now I am with the silent bats. So following up exactly what Bob is pretty much experiencing right now.
And that's not like you're forcing something. That's not like saying, I have to move on from Bryson Stott, or what somebody called in earlier but hung up on us about that. Or you're forcing saying, I'm not, Ranger Suarez isn't a number 3. Like, that's kind of force-fed. You can't help that you're sitting there and not have the feeling that you had earlier in the year sometimes.
I think that's just natural.
Exactly.
Because the evidence, as you pointed out, in the last 41 games, it's there. This is not the last 2 series. I mean, the numbers obviously are not really good in the last 4 series overall, but this goes beyond that. This goes back to even when they were winning some of those games, or those series, I should say. It just hasn't looked the same as it did in the first, 70-something games of the season. So I think that's fair. But it doesn't mean that it can't look like that again, or you can't get that feeling back again. I feel like it's just the way it is, 162.
Yeah, and I'm not in a bad spot. I don't consider...
You're just not in as good a spot.
Right. It's kind of like
fair.
you have some
They're not in
trepidation.
as good a spot.
Right, exactly. That's why. I'm only following what they're showing me.
Exactly.
I'm only following what they're laying down, and what they're laying down lately hasn't been all that great. What's the first thing or one of the biggest things, Aim, that has to happen for this team to be righted? If, maybe specifically.
JT Realmuto needs to start hitting again consistently. I don't mean to pick on him, but of all the people, when there was so much, maybe it was just by me, put on him for him to come back because of what he means to this pitching staff and everybody in the bullpen. I thought one of the reasons some of those guys had struggled was because they didn't have their battery mate back there. A guy who can be a calming presence, a guy who maybe sees something, all right, well, maybe you're doing this, or maybe you're a little bit of tweak here and there. And then offensively, he's never going to light it up, but he is a consistent hitter.
Yeah.
He is a guy that you can rely on, and you haven't seen that. So, yes, behind the plate, I think he has done, kind of gotten closer back to where he was, but you're still seeing some of the pitching staff struggle, and I'm not going to put that on JT, but I'm thinking all right, well, I need you to do both. And I feel more like I don't worry about Bryce Harper. That's not even on my radar yet.
No.
Maybe in 28 games, I'll be like, oh, remember when I said I did? I don't think so, but talk to me, in 3 weeks from now. But I don't worry about him. Kyle Schwarber is Kyle Schwarber. I agree with you. He is seeing the ball a little bit better. You saw some good at-bats yesterday, and obviously over the weekend as well with a couple of those home runs. So that's it. Nick Castellanos, he is who he is. Fine there. For me, it's JT Realmuto.
Okay, right. If I pose that same question to you, what specifically do you need to happen to this Phillies team to right the ship, so to speak?
I just need the Stars to get going again. I mean, I don't know if it's one person specifically. I think it's kind of across the board. You mentioned JT coming back from injury. He hasn't been what you expect at the plate. Harper hasn't hit for a couple weeks here. Schwarber, I think, is starting to click into what you would expect him to be, but it had a tough, again, 2 weeks while the team was having a tough 2 weeks. Trey Turner, same with him. I could start to pick on all these different guys to help, and, I really need Stott to get going. I really need this. To me, the peripherals, like the 4 others in the lineup that aren't a Schwarber, a Harper, Turner, Realmuto, if 2 of those guys are going while those 4 are going, then I think you're in a good place. The problem is those 4 right now aren't going for you.
Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that all of a sudden pitching went sour? You just mentioned star hitters aren't hitting. Bullpen isn't getting the job really done as of late. Is this a coincidence that all happened at once, or... Again,
coincidence.
And I hate to put again. Is it just baseball?
Yeah, I think coincidences are just baseball because of the 162. I mean, not all. There are times where things can snowball, but I do think because of the way the games are set up, it has a tendency that things can pile on because they're back to back to back to back. If you had this game and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days from now, you have another game that's also bad, it wouldn't seem as compounding as it does when you've got back to back. Now, in this case, it's 4 straight series.
Right.
And you're looking at game after game after game where it's really only like one game in the series that goes well. That's where the little bit I think of where maybe it's not a coincidence, but for me, I'm just trying to look at it as like the whole picture. I'm just trying to focus on that. But no, I mean, I think that there's probably some thought of like when things go bad, it all goes bad.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had that until this right now.
No, until right now.
Earlier
exactly.
it's like, oh, maybe they were scuffling, but the pitching was good.
Ray, coincidence? Just baseball? What is it? Nothing? That I don't want to say, are we making too much of this? Because it's real. 20 and 21
That's a real thing.
Is a real thing, and that's 41 games. And we've done a lot of things on this show that have a far less sample size than 41 games of a quarter of the baseball season is basically what we're talking about. Is this just a coincidence? Is it just baseball? How do you describe it, Ray?
I don't know. When you start framing it as a quarter of the baseball season, I would say then we still have a larger sample size of this season of them being far superiorly above 500.
Sure.
Because if they're 20 and 21 in that time, and right now they're still,
25, I think.
25, 24, some ridiculous, absurd number above 500 right now, that would mean that they played that level for 60-something games. So we do have a decent chunk of they've been around 500. To me, that stretch includes the time you were without Harper, the time you were without Schwarber, the time that we saw whatever really was going on with Ranger. There's a lot that happened there that if that happens in the postseason, I'm going to be greatly concerned. The last few series to me is more whoa, this has been just brutal to watch. This has been frustrating to watch. And I think that smaller sample size and what it's done to that record over that time, because before that stretch, if they're 20 and 21, you're looking at they were 16 and 13 or 16 and 12 leading up to that. This little scuffle here, that to me tells you, they were still playing really good baseball.
Yeah.
They've just had 2 really bad weeks.
All right, fair enough. I like the even keelness, for lack of a better phrase, that we all kind of have here, and I think most of the listeners
Trying to
agree.
breathe through.
Yeah, and the stuff that I'm seeing on our YouTube page, it's all kind of right there. Hey, this is baseball.
They know
This
they
is a
need to
40-game
hit,
stretch. Yeah, 1 quarter of the season is all it is. You got to take the other 3 quarters, and we'll see what that brings. All right, when we get back, Reggie Jackson from the Sixers is going to be joining us. The timing worked out that he's going to call us after we get back from break. More Eagles talk, more Phillies talk, all of it with you. Love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Amy Fadul's with us. Bob Cooney, Ray Dunn producing. 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back, Middays. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, even though it is the worst by far day of the week.
And we mean that in no like direct offense to Tuesday, but if you had to rank the days, it is 7 of the 1 through 7.
It's like I said, if you got a 7-pack of beer and 6 of them were really good, and you go to either have that 7th or it's skunked.
Tuesday.
And that's Tuesday.
And that's why they only make 6-packs.
That's right. You think they were thinking of Tuesday when they made 6
Probably.
packs?
I would be.
I would have been too, yeah. So, all right, so we're talking about a lot of things going on today. I really did like to hear what Nick Sirianni had to say yesterday about Jalen Hurts because, like I said before, it starts there. It doesn't end there, but it certainly starts there. And he has just been having a fabulous training camp so far, according to reporters that have been there every day. And now Nick Sirianni, who I assume looks in on the offense a little bit more than defense.
Yes.
Is that a fair assumption?
I have to check in with Coach Fangio, but he had not checked in with him. So we'll have to get an update on the office visit. We should have a tally. If someone asks him each time, has he visited your office? He was asked that the other day, Fangio was, and he said, no, not today, but he's visited previously, but not recently. I think it's just more like a drive-by. Everything good in there? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Just check in.
Yeah?
That's fine. I'm fine with a check-in.
Can we help you, Nick? Just seeing if everything's all right.
All good.
We're good.
It's a defensive.
Close the door.
Yeah, he's the offensive coach.
Close the door behind you. It's like...
I don't need him to do anything in there.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a movie and somebody throws a light on or something. You're like, turn that light off.
I just need you to
close
check
the door.
Do you need anything?
What are you up to? But before the ball gets to Jalen Hurts, it starts in the hands of a guy that hasn't started a regular season game at this position. And it is Cam Jurgens at the center spot. And there's going to be an awful lot of eyes on him when preseason starts and a lot of talk about him during training camp. And this is what Landon Dickerson, he's back at practice. He's ready to go. The toe must be healed from the little slip and slide incident.
Little slip and slide.
Well, we're just assuming that. I
don't know what it was.
We don't know, but he had a little contusion on a toe. So he's back, and this is what Landon Dickerson had to say about Cam Jurgens yesterday.
Cam's creating his own path right now. Really smart guy, physical guy, strong guy, moves well. He's handling this transition from going from playing guard and a little bit of center last year to playing center right now. Communication's been good and kind of run into, you never know what happens when guys get hurt, right? You're rotating guys in. We got Mackay coming in and guys stepping in at different tackles, changing up the groups. I think he's done a tremendous job so far of just clear communication to everybody, setting the standard of how things are supposed to be done in the huddle when we get to the ball and handling it overall great.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it once again. And that's for Landon Dickerson. Now, we were lucky enough to have him on the show last year when we were doing a remote somewhere. And I couldn't be a more down-to-earth, oh, yeah, this is what an offensive tackle is type of dude. I'm just saying, if Cam Jurgens was struggling there, I have a feeling Landon Dickerson might say, yeah, he's doing good in some spots. Has to get better in others.
Yeah, I think he would tell you.
I do.
In a nice, kind of offensive lineman type of way. I mean, the man.
Wait, say that again in a nice offensive lineman type of way?
Because I feel like they're all kind of, they're a very tight group. I think it started with Jason Kelsey, and they've carried that over. I think they're a very tight group. But Landon Dickerson is wholesome. He's a wholesome guy.
Yes.
With his first big check, he went and got a lawnmower. Granted, a really nice big lawnmower, but that was like the first thing he was focused on, which I appreciate so much. So I don't think any of those guys would, but if I had to choose, he would be the last person I'd be like, who's really stinking it up out there is this guy. He would never do that. It's just not his vibe.
No. And I love the makeup of this offensive line. I know you lost a Hall of Famer. I know you're replacing 2 different positions now with Jurgens moving over to center from right guard. Tyler Steen gets an injury, which is going to keep him out a little bit. So there's some comings and goings there. But there was a lot asked about Landon Dickerson yesterday, and I think the media kind of looks at him the way that I just portrayed. Like, okay, here's a guy we can ask the honest questions to that we're going to get an honest answer. So when you're talking to an offensive guy, you're usually going to talk about the offense, right? But no, when you get a guy that's going to tell you the truth about everything, you ask about anything. So they did. They asked him about the defense yesterday.
Our whole defense in general is doing well. I think Fangio's doing a great job calling plays against our offense. And, they're always giving us a good look. I think Jordan and Jalen are kind of embracing that role, and obviously losing Fletch and that kind of veteran leadership, and then Hargrave earlier. But I think honestly they've stepped up tremendously. They're working hard at practice. They're finishing to the ball. They're working to be the best players they can be.
I got that. That to me, if I'm reading into this, that wasn't a. They're great. They're
right.
That was more of a. They got to get.
We're working on it.
They got to keep going.
Yeah,
like
we're
those two
working on
kids got to get going here. And it wasn't more. It wasn't. He wasn't putting him down in any way. But I think it was an honest look by Landon Dickerson, just saying,
yeah,
look, those two are very important. They got to be there all the time, and they're learning how to do it. And probably like, hey, come on, let's get a little better. It's a weird thing. You're competing against somebody. I'm an offensive lineman, you're a defensive lineman, and we're going against each other all the time. I want to better you. But I know for the team, you need to get better. You know, so it's like, yeah, they're doing well. I'm owning them right now. Yeah. But, and in my mind, they got to get better because I'm controlling those guys pretty well.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at it that way, it's like I'm getting them there. They're responding to what I'm trying to do because it was a positive forward rather than like, wow, they really, you could say they need to get better and it could take on like wow, they really need to get better. But I felt like it was like more like, yep, we're getting there. We're doing the work. They're responding to what we're asking of them and they're going to get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
those two, to me, might be the most important part of that defense because of how everything else plays off of it. You know what I mean? If they're doing well right up the middle, I think your outside rushers are going to have an easier time. Right.
Because it then trickles down.
Exactly. And if they are getting to the quarterback, obviously it helps your secondary, which is in flux. Only because they're moving. I'm not calling out talent. I'm saying it's in flux because
they're moving people around.
Exactly. I've heard of like 4 different starters. Right.
This guy's now he's working in at the nickel.
Yeah.
He's starting opposite Slay. Oh no, now it's Keely Ringo back there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like influx in a negative way. I think it's influx of like.
That's why I wanted to explain it. You're exactly right.
We're seeing a lot of different options.
Yeah, and what does that tell you? It tells you Vic Fangio's looking to try to find who is best. And could it be a negative thing? Sure. It could be like, wow, I thought he would plug in here, but let me try somebody else. Or could it be a positive thing of, man, he's really good, but let me try this guy. Wow, he's really good too. Mm-hmm. Let's see everything that you have going on here. All right, when we get back, I swear I'm not kidding you. Reggie Jackson, his media ran a little bit late. He was doing a Sixers.com thing. He's going to come on with us when we get back from the break. We'll have new 76er Reggie Jackson and a whole lot more with you. Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Hi, YouTubers. Good to see you guys talking it up today. You know how much we like you guys. Appreciate it. Aim,
Yes.
favorite Summer Olympic sport?
Oh, see, we were talking about this before we came on out there, and there's been so many. It's one of those random things that I look over and I'm like, oh, have I ever watched synchronized diving? Nope. Am I locked in? Absolutely.
Really? See, I gave it a try the other day.
No?
No, because it was like, this girl jumps higher than that girl. I was watching the women.
Well, no, the synchronized one.
I know, but it wasn't synchronized because one of them's jumping
Which
higher
is so
than
great
the other
because
one.
I'm sitting there. I watch it maybe like once every whatever other Olympics, so it's not even as often as every 4 years. And then I become like that. I can't believe she did that. Oh, she didn't tuck when she was supposed to tuck. Like the hilarity of me judging anybody on any Olympic stage is just preposterous.
Can you imagine saying I was in the Olympics?
No. I mean, I wish I could, but no, I can't.
All right, so I watched the
But I
diver. Diving is cool to me.
I love swimming. That comes over from like when I used to cover Michael Phelps. Like that stuff is just it's just
swim.
so
that's right,
intense.
Baltimore area, dude.
So
Michael Phelps.
intense. Gymnastics, I love them all.
I became really interested in swimming after my kids. So my kids all swam for a swim
Yeah.
team, and I was the announcer. So I kind of I was around
like
it more and more and more. Swimming, I love.
Swimming's great.
I figured out last night what I love most about sports, though. And I think if I would have sat down and actually thought about it, it's clutchness.
Oh yeah,
When I see
like
clutch
pommel
in
horse
sport,
guy coming in.
Pommel horse guy was phenomenal
Steve.
Is that his name, Steve?
Steve Nadrazik.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's just going to be forever known as pommel horse.
Like, I know there's a lot of dudes sitting out there listening to this going, seriously, watching men's
If you
gymnastics?
didn't watch that,
I hear you, too. Like, I don't like watching the guys bounce off the floor. I don't know what that is. Floor?
it's literally just called floor exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that. Like, I don't.
How about for the women's gymnastics? Because they like Simone Biles at that. And Suni Lee
She's
too. But
incredibly crazy
Yeah.
good. They had there was someone on Twitter the other day of like the Japanese women watching her. And their reaction to her was like,
Simone Biles,
oh my God.
she's done certain like stunts and certain like aerial acts, different, whether it's on the vault or it's on the floor or whatever, that she's perfected and she is trademarked. So it's like Simone Biles 1, Simone Biles, like that's how good she is.
Yeah, like I read on Twitter
And Lee
before
too. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Gymnastics is so fun to watch.
It is. Aspects like the pommel horse I like, the uneven bars I love.
How about the rings?
That is amazing. Can you imagine?
No, I've tried to do that. You can't. I can barely even hang there.
So, and the cool part is they're doing it for like 25, 30 seconds. You can't imagine how much your arms must be singing. And then they do it again. Like
And then
they'll
they
hold
come back
themselves
again. The
out
Iron
again.
Cross. The Iron Cross. is
Yeah,
called.
that's crazy.
But I like watching ping pong, table tennis, even though I call it ping pong. Badminton, that was fun to watch just because Snoop did it.
I
Water
want Snoop.
polo?
I want Snoop to be a bigger part of my sports life.
Did you ever see the clip? And he is not doing the dressage this year where the horses prance, for lack of a better word. Have you seen dressage? Do you know what
I
that is?
haven't seen that. I've seen him do the animals.
So he did dressage, I guess, the last time it was out. It's tremendous.
Really?
It's well worth a Google.
Did you ever see the mongoose getting chased by
Yes.
snakes?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just the Jimmy Kimmel stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
Yeah.
Snoop. I want him to be a bigger part of my life. I really do.
Yeah, he's a great addition to that because he's us. But I love that these guys, and we were just talking about, like, all of a sudden you look over and Snoop is at the gymnastics meet.
Yeah.
Not because he's there commentating on it, because he wants to go. Like everybody's just showing up. Dawn Staley is over there. There were water polo, something I watched the other day. Women's rugby I watched. They've done quite well. Water polo too.
They got that one girl. She's wicked.
She's awesome. She's so good.
She scares me the way she looks, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. Like, she wants to look mean.
Yeah, she had a good
She's scary.
she had a good back and forth. Ilana, which she had with Jason Kelsey.
Oh yeah, was it the two of them that arm wrestled, or was it somebody else?
That was somebody else.
He had the beret on.
Yeah, which is great.
He's got his wife right behind him cheering. Like, where are these kids?
But so like talking
I
about
love
like
this. These guys travel so much.
They
I
should.
love that.
Maybe their kids are with them. They've been there.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to see
But like things like the Iron Cross, like at the rings, that's crazy to me because you're holding that. And then I think about I was watching water polo the other day because I love that Flavor Flav he's the benefactor for the women's water polo because he learned that they had extra jobs so they can kind of keep training in their sport. He thought that's crazy. You're an Olympian. What is that? So he's donated all his money, a lot of money, which is great. But they can't touch the bottom in water polo.
No.
When I
You're
discovered that a
treading
couple
water
years
all the
ago, I was like, I'm sorry, you're treading water?
Really? You just knew that a
I
couple
just
years
figured
ago?
like they're just running along. I didn't know. I'd never seen water polo
How would you
until
like
the
to
last.
be the goalie there? You don't even get
How
to
do you
swim.
jump up?
Yeah, that takes a lot of torqueness, for lack of a better term.
Hour. But like stuff like that's amazing to me.
Ray, what's your favorite summer sport? Did
Water
we even
polo's
mention it?
Cool. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I haven't necessarily gotten so deep into it.
I don't like water polo.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
I'm a big fan of like what it takes to just do
Oh,
it.
that's cool. That's cool what it takes. I don't like. That's not one of the Olympic events that I'll sit there and go, oh, okay, cool. Water polo's on. I'll watch that. Nah,
I'd sit and
No?
watch it.
Like yesterday, I watched the women's volleyball game against China, I believe it was. We were out to lunch and I was watching that, and women's team came back. And it's weird. I never saw the final result of it. They were down 2-0. They came back tied at 2-2. It was real exciting and stuff. We left the restaurant and I never saw the result.
You left Tommy's Tavern.
But it's a secret. But go ahead, Ray. Your favorite? You don't have one, or you don't really
I
care
haven't
about
really
sports?
got.
Is that what it is?
Yep, that's exactly it.
What about
Yep.
fencing? That's another fun one for me.
I
Nah.
just haven't
What?
been sat down yet for the
I'm
Olympics.
locked in. I can't.
Wait, you're
I watch
locked into
everything.
fence? I still don't understand
I'm locked into
fencing.
any points. Beep beep. Well, there was a girl she goes to, there's two fencers. There's a woman fencer who just won gold, I think. And then I don't know if they're engaged or married, men fencer. They're both in med school. I'm thinking, this is incredible. Like, that's credible. That's crazy. I like the extra stories. Anytime I turn on any sport on the Olympics, I love that I just look down on YouTube and it's me going beep, beep. So I think about like, oh, here's something I've never watched. I don't even know what this particular sport is called. I'm locked in.
I didn't know there was 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics until you and I just
It's just
turned the
half
TV
court.
on a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nah.
But you were interested in seeing what's going to how it goes.
I don't. No, I wouldn't watch the 3-on-3 if I don't. Nah. What else? What else do we have? I'm trying to think of others. Track and field, I love.
Yeah, we haven't had track and field hasn't.
That
started
always
yet.
closes it out.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
always
probably
like
one
a
of the
really
most-
big one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a really big one.
Boxing in summer.
It used to be, but I don't think it's boxing.
No more
I don't think they have
boxing.
boxing anymore.
Golf
Golf's coming up. That starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and
Who's playing for Ireland?
Wyndham Clark. Shane Lowry is because he's actually from Ireland.
Isn't Rory McIlroy from Northern Ireland?
That's Great Britain.
See, what's
But
going on here, Ray?
But he is.
He practiced yesterday.
He's golfing for Ireland. He did in the last Olympics or before, which I appreciate. I think that's great. But
Did you see he played a random practice round yesterday?
no, I didn't.
At the old course at St. Andrews?
No.
Like nobody knew he was playing and it was just Rory.
Can you imagine if you,
people
like,
were
roll up?
walking,
Yeah.
Yeah, people were walking on the famed,
Bridge.
road hole.
Yes.
And they were like,
Oh, on the road
a
hole.
guy's like, wait a second, that's Rory McIlroy's teeing off.
What if he was like behind you and all of a sudden you're like,
He
who
hit
is
up on
this
you?
guy? Like what? Oh,
Yeah.
you can hit it 320 yards. Got
Nah, I'd still hit his ball away. Wait till I'm out of the way, dude. Like, come on, what are you doing here?
it. You hit a ball over there, it would just go straight
You
forever.
can't be hitting up on me. No chance about that. All right, Reggie Jackson will be joining us shortly on the program as he is the newly signed 76er. I wonder, does he get thrown right into the starting lineup? I thought maybe he would. We had Paul Hudrick on who said, and we made the bet, and he said, absolutely not. You already have your starting lineup. He's going to be another guy coming off the bench. I made a $1 bet with Hudrick that the starting lineup isn't what he thinks it is. But, I could be wrong. You decided you would split it. If I lose, you're
I
going
would
to
split you
it.
50 cents. I
Right.
put
If
in
we
50.
win, though, I get the whole dollar.
Correct, because you
Yeah.
made the bet.
Okay. All right. That sounds fair to me, Ray.
That
Well,
doesn't
why are you
quite
looking at me
sound
quizzically?
Right. I'm not. Why would you go 50-50 on him if he loses?
Because she's a nice person,
Yes.
and she trusts me.
I'll take $1 from you too when the starting lineup's the Maxey, the 3 wings, and Embiid.
Maxey, the 3 wings, and Embiid. So you go
Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, George.
Oubre, Maxey,
Oubre.
Embiid. I'll take the $1 from you too opening night.
All right, I'll make
You don't
that
mind.
bet with you
Sounds
also.
good.
I see he threw in there opening night. Well, yeah, we did
That's what
say
you. That's
opening
what you
night.
said the
You're
bet
right.
was.
You're right.
Woo,
You're right.
woo, 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 woo.
Calm
Making sure
down.
Paul gets his money here.
Yeah, I just we don't have Ray. I know you've been scanning the wire all morning, as we used to say back in the day.
Any big? I haven't seen any big hot stove.
I
moves yet.
have not either. The Braves made some interesting moves last night, but have you seen
They did.
anything as of yet, Ray, at all?
No.
No.
Quiet morning.
Quiet morning.
Quiet morning.
Now, how do you think it goes for the rest of the day for your Philadelphia Phillies? Are they done? Is the Austin Hayes move the offensive move that they had to make? Wow, that tells me no. That absolutely tells me no.
It's the offensive move they made. Like,
I know. Is that it? Like,
it
in
seems
their
like
eyes.
it.
Obviously, I'm asking in their eyes. In their eyes, are they okay with this? Now, Rob Thompson comes out, and I hadn't seen it. All truthfulness aside, I'm never going to lie to you guys. I didn't see where Rob Thompson came out and said 10 days. So when you said that this morning, I was like, oh, my God. My thought was, why would you say that? Why would you put that on yourself?
It was very strange because he was just like, yeah, we're going to try this for 10, and it didn't seem like he was trying to put a deadline on it, but when you put a number, we're going to latch onto it as a deadline. So in 10 games, you're going to come back and be like, how'd that go?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
You left yourself open
What did you
for
see?
questioning.
So is the answer after whatever evaluation period you deem it, 10 at this point? Did you like it, what you saw? Do you look but I think that's, to me, that gave me a little bit. Here comes Dave Dombrowski and says he is our everyday left fielder. Right after that, Rob Thompson says, we're going to try this out. And here's a determined amount of time for that. All right, well, which is it?
Yeah. I was surprised.
I appreciated a timeline that they're going to take it under evaluation. It's not set in stone. If it doesn't look like he's doing much better against right-handed pitching than Marsh is at left-handed pitching, then maybe they were like, all right, well, we're going to platoon him with Brandon Marsh. Maybe that's what the thinking is. We'll find out in a couple of days.
Yeah, look, you're always
was it 10 days? I thought it was 10 days. It's not 10 games. I think I've said 10 games. I think we said 10 days. I'll look
Okay,
it up.
like I
You
said,
remember that,
so
right?
a
Whatever it
weird
is.
arbitrary timeline placed upon.
Was it very
and there's only one off day there coming up anyway, and that's the
Right.
time after the Yankees and before they get out
Thursday,
to Seattle on Friday night. But really, really tough schedule going on right here for the Phillies right now. They go at it again tonight against the New York Yankees. Ray will be in attendance, so all of you that are Ray Dunn fans, please say hello, stop by. He's not one to turn down a beverage. Yeah. Like, hey, really enjoy listening to you, Ray. Keep those guys in line. Doing a great job. So he'll be out there tonight. And if you're not sure which one Ray is, he'll be sitting with the lady who has a Yankees jersey something on. Does your mom have a Yankees hat that she wears, or?
I'm not sure what the attire is going to be for her.
Okay.
She does have a Yankees hat. I don't know if that'll be the choice.
Is she the type that picks it out, like, knows exactly what's going? Because I've never been that guy. Like, I'm going to I don't know, Sixers game. I have to wear this, that, or the other because I'm not a jersey guy or anything like that. But you are. You know exactly when you're going to a Phillies game, you have to have proper attire, right, Ray?
Wear a T-shirt, a jersey. Depends how I feel that day. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something that I like.
You will counter your mother with Phillies gear
there will
tonight.
be Phillies gear on my body. Yes, I would assume that.
Okay.
But I'm not the one like, I'm going to the game Tuesday. Let's make sure I lay this out for Tuesday night. Going to make sure that I wear that to the game. It's going to be, there's a Phillies shirt.
No,
that
Wow.
works.
He's pretty laid back.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more arbitrary.
Are you?
Yeah. I try to think at least, not like a day ahead, but I try to think ahead. Like that day.
I'm not good at that stuff.
Well, you're a minute by minute guy.
I am. There's no question about it. And that's what your Philadelphia Phillies are. Right now, they're a boomer bust team, a minute-by-minute team. And right now, the minutes aren't going all that well. But we'll take a look at maybe what we think can be fixed. And then it's a question I threw out to Ray and Amy a little bit earlier. And I'd like to throw it out to the listeners, too, at 610-632-0975. What do you need to see from this Phillies team? Now, be specific. It can't be, overall, they got to hit better. Yeah, I know, but like Amy brought up, she needs JT Realmuto to hit better. She needs him to start getting his groove. And I think he was interviewed on Sunday, Amy, right, during the game?
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yes, he was.
So he's interviewed during the game, and he's like, I'm just, is that what that's cool. It's pretty,
it's like right there.
Unlike other sports, I like in baseball if the guys are wearing the mics, if the guys are talked to in the dugout, because it is a slow game.
And because you can do it while the game is actually happening.
Exactly. And Real Muto said, you know what? Being out for a few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, it does mess with your timing. So I'm not there yet. I got to get back to there. And, that's an important part of it. I can't say an individual pitcher needs to get going because it's so random. Like, oh, need Jack Wheeler to find it again. Okay, if he does, that's only once every 5 days.
Yeah, and he found it against every other team, not in the AL East.
What is it? No, what's that stat that you gave earlier? I don't think you gave it on air yet.
I didn't. Against the Orioles and against the Yankees, he gave up 7 home runs. His ERA is 14 in those 2 games. 7 home runs against the O's and Yankees in 2 games. In the other 19 starts, 7 total home runs.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it's not good.
No, that's not.
But it's against those two particular teams.
So you're just hoping that the Guardians make it to the World Series, and then everything will be all right.
Or he figures it out. I like that I was reading, not to sidebar, but I was reading a lot of people that, why aren't you walking Judge? I think it was the 3rd time he come over, maybe it was the 2nd time, and I thought, oh, well, I think that he felt like he could go at him, and he did go at him, and he struck him out the 2nd time. But it is a little dangerous when you want to go right at Aaron Judge, a guy who had just hit his 38th and then later hit his 39th home run. But I like that he still had that confidence to go at Aaron Judge, even if it was a little bit misplaced at the time. He did get him the 2nd time around, but the first time, Judge got all of that one. Judge has 99 RBI.
When his numbers popped up last
not
night,
even August.
I knew he was having a good year and all, but the 315 batting
first in
average,
everything. Like Juan Soto's sitting there being like,
everything.
Juan Soto's second in a lot of those categories to his teammate.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
He's fun to watch. Like Aaron Judge is an opponent that I find fun to watch.
Yeah, I enjoy Juan Soto more to watch than Aaron Judge. Though I do enjoy Aaron Judge, Juan Soto to me is just a pure hitter.
Yeah.
Like I think that he's underrated, if that's possible. I think people look at him for being like one of the best baseball players.
It's like a Miguel Cabrera, just a guy that you're
solid,
like, he's going to be there
315 all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vie for a batting title.
And a guy that probably could also, if he wanted to, concentrate on hitting 50 homers a year.
Sure could.
But it's like, nah, you know what? I'll just go for these, I'll hit dingers here and there, because everybody does love dingers. All right, we have been promising it, and if I sound distracted every once in a while, it's because I am in the midst of texting with the Sixers. Reggie Jackson just got done a whole bunch of obligations. Things were running late today. He's going to call us from his car as soon as he can. So, so how about if we do that? We'll take a break now.
Okay.
And then when we get back, we'll have Reggie Jackson on with us. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, Amy Fadul, Ray Dunn producing 97.5 The Fanatic. Back 12:26 here on the Fanatic. Glad you're with us. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Now afternoon, as we go into getting ready to go into August, Aim.
I can't believe it
Why?
because I feel like that signals the end of the summer for me. The beginning of August.
The beginning of the end?
Yeah, and it's like, school's coming back.
Yeah, I know. There was one of my neighbors was outside
I mean,
last
football's
night.
back, which I enjoy, but
Football's back, which is great, but I do. I love, love, love the summer. But yeah, when it starts to get towards the end of it, you start looking forward to the first, crispy Saturday.
yeah, it's a good fall Saturday.
Crispy. Crispy isn't right. Crisp Saturday,
Yeah,
I would say.
crispy is different. In August, you'll have plenty of crispy Saturdays. We're looking for more like a crisp
A
Saturday
crisp Saturday,
in late September.
Yeah, but it was funny. One of my neighbors was outside last night, young Ryan, and he says, today's my birthday. I said, how old are you today, 15? He's like, yeah, I am. I said, and he's like, yeah, it always feels like school. Like, I could just feel him
Yeah. Shawnee already talking about, I saw the back to school ad because I got something
They
that came
started
in.
them way I know it seems like we say this every year, but this year it seemed even earlier.
Listen, there's already
It's ridiculous.
Halloween stuff out there.
Oh, I can't.
I was asked yesterday when it's appropriate to start decorating for Halloween.
What? October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
October,
the week
mid. Yeah, I was
before.
going to say mid-October.
After the Eagles' third win.
Yeah, that's
when
weird.
acceptable. They don't have 3 wins by Halloween. The rest of the holidays are
Does it
canceled
cancel?
anyways. So after the Eagles' third win, you can decorate for Halloween.
Yeah, we have this in our we have this big bay window, I guess, in our family room, and we have a tree in it, an artificial that my wife decorates pretty much every month.
So,
for
they have,
whatever's
a
coming
theme
up.
for... Yeah, I like that.
So,
Okay.
there'll be hearts in February, and then March will have, leprechauns and clovers and stuff like that. Maybe it might be springtime. Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
little birds.
That's when I
eggs.
start to, really feel what might be coming up. But the October one is just fall. It's not... So, on October 1st, she's not decorating it for Halloween.
It's but that's left over from a September kind of vibe, maybe too.
Right. Yeah, there might be some
Like the autumn colors.
autumn. Yes.
Yeah, autumnal.
Do you have a favorite time of the year?
Yeah, it's tough for me. It's going to be fall, but I really do enjoy the summer. I like being warm. I know there's a lot of people that do not like that. If I had to rank my seasons, number 1 would be fall, number 2 would be summer, number 3 would be spring, and number 4 would be winter.
Can I tell you that my honest answer? I swear to you, this is my honest answer. My favorite season is whatever one we're in. I mean,
Really?
I tell you guys how much I love summer. I love summer. I love being outside, but it's not the greatest sports time.
No,
It's
I get
only
that.
baseball.
The winter is a great sports time.
Winter's a great sports
But
time.
I can't stand the weather.
If I
I
could,
don't do well in cold.
every Friday after 5 o'clock in the wintertime, I would love for a major snowstorm to hit.
Well, if I don't have to go anywhere,
That's why I want it after 5
No.
o'clock. And I'm not just thinking of me, Amy. I'm thinking of everybody.
Well, I still go to work at that time.
Well, then I'm not thinking of you, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
clearly
thinking
not.
of the normal person. But yeah, 5 o'clock on a Friday.
The abnormal person.
Let the 24 inches come and let's go
Yeah, no, I
because
do
I'm
enjoy
ready
it.
for
we
that.
haven't had a good snowstorm in a while.
No, it's we have warm winters anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the way we are. What isn't warm is currently your Philadelphia Phillies. I would call them not even lukewarm. I would say they're kind of, that game you used to play when somebody's looking for them. You're hot, you're
Oh,
cold.
hot.
Cold. Yeah. Phillies are bordering freezing right now. Not a whole lot of great going on. 4-9 in their last 13 games. Still 8.5 up on the Braves, 9 up on the Mets, who are quickly closing in on that Braves team. And we'll see how the rest of the day plays out as we have a 6 o'clock trade deadline today. As we said, and we're not kidding you, Reggie Jackson at some point is going to be calling the program. We promise. We have been going back and forth. We have been changing breaks for him, so he'll be getting in touch with us shortly. But Mitch in Arizona wants to talk Philadelphia Phillies. Mitch, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mitch?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon over there.
How are you?
I'm having the worst summer of my life. You said your favorite time of the year is summer?
Yeah, I love
Is that
summer.
correct? Yeah, well, normally that's the right answer unless you live in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's not. I have been there in the dead of summer. That's not fun.
No.
No, it's horrible.
Here's the way you got to look at it, though, Mitch. Las Vegas is worse.
Not by much.
Yeah, that's true, but a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Regarding the Phillies, we've gone through this before. They've gotten off to really bad starts. They come back, later in the season, or they got off to a good start and then they went into a slump. They got the personnel on that team. I don't think the manager is as good as most people think he is. I don't see any enthusiasm out of him. He doesn't get annoyed when the plate umpire screws up over and over again.
He got tossed about a week ago.
No, actually, his got tossed.
That was Kevin. That was over the weekend, but a little over a week before that, he has gotten tossed before.
I don't see the enthusiasm out of him like other managers in the past.
Does that really matter, though, Mitch? Like, seriously, if I'm a baseball player and I'm on the diamond and I look over and I see my manager smiling, like, is that going to make me a better player? Like, you can question a lot about Rob Thompson if you so choose, but enthusiasm?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not an expert on the subject, but I'm going to try to answer your question. Schwarberg has been the leadoff hitter since he came over to the Phillies, except when he was in left field. They kind of played around with him, maybe batting third or fifth or whatever. I still believe with the amount of home runs the guy hits with nobody on base, he could be in a better position in that lineup to bring in 3 runs instead of 1. Do you agree?
I mean, there could be that. Thanks, Mitch. That's the age-old argument. That's almost so old now. I don't even like arguing it anymore.
It's funny. I literally just mentioned about an hour ago in this program how we had stopped hearing from how he shouldn't be the leadoff guy because he had a higher on-base percentage this year. His batting average had improved this year. He was getting singles and moving guys over when he was coming up in the second and third time at bat. He's got 20-something home runs. He's had a good home run season, but he's not the 40 guy that we had last year or the year before.
What was their record when they got rid of Joe Girardi? Like 25 and 33, something like that?
You know who had a lot of enthusiasm is Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, I'm not making fun. Well, I'm sorry?
22 and 29.
22 and 29. That was when it coincided with Rob Thompson not long after, if I'm not mistaken, putting Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff position. You've done nothing but win. We can break down this, that, and the other. Sorry. To me, W's comes before anything. And look, I had the argument back and forth before of whether he should or shouldn't be. But when it's that simple, you don't have to dive much more into it except they win baseball games.
Yeah.
And you could talk about, well, there's, other factors. Okay. I don't care. Like, when he leads off, maybe those other factors are there because they're more comfortable with him leading off.
So if you take the exercise a step further and you actually do move him around, how would you? So you put Trey Turner first, right? Trey Turner would be your leadoff guy. Who's second?
Kyle
Schwarber?
Stott.
You can't put
Harper.
Stott there right now. You can't put Harper second. Harper's 3. So then at this point, then you're moving. So maybe Bohm is second? No, that's a terrible idea. He's an RBI machine.
Yeah, that
fits.
argument it's almost, and nothing against Mitch. But that argument is almost like throwing snowballs at Santa. Like, it's too old. It's been done too many times. There's too much to back it up of why he's there. I'm not going to make the argument anymore. Jerry in North Virginia. Jerry, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Jerry?
Hi, Bob. Hi, Amy. Hi, Ray. How y'all doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Good. Hey, I called yesterday, but I had some technical difficulties, and it actually worked out well because this is not my normal way, okay? I understand baseball's a long season, and, yesterday I think Amy and Ray were talking about, the confidence factor and whatnot, and I was ready to say I'm like a 3 out of 10 as far as concern goes. And one game should never affect my mindset until last night. And, it's not much more than a 4.5 for concern, but I got to say, when everything was clicking, the starting pitching was just phenomenal. Now, Rangers on the injured list, I'm sure, Wheeler's great, tremendous, but after last night, I hope he's not got some nagging injuries. It's just a little concerning. And then I do want to make a quick comment about the Yankees.
Sure.
After you respond to that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead with your Yankee spot.
So I don't watch the Yankees regularly, but man, what a lineup! And that Aaron Judge, what does he have? Like 73 home runs already? He's
39.
amazing.
He is amazing.
Incredible.
And what amazes me even more, Jaron, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. 315 average. Like, it's not a guy that's going up there and just hitting home runs and knocking in runs and not doing anything else. He gets hits.
He's not Joey Votto.
No. He is a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, there are players on other teams that you can appreciate. I hated nobody more than the Boston Celtics growing up, but I appreciated the hell out of Larry Bird's game.
Well, yeah.
Like, if I saw him playing against other teams, I liked watching him play. But Aaron Judge is one of those baseball players to me, too. And I imagine the Phillies have probably, I think people outside of Philadelphia appreciate Bryce Harper's game. Probably watching Trey Turner be one of the best hitting shortstops in baseball.
When you don't like him, it's because they're good and they've murdered you as your team. You're just like, it's like when the Braves kept winning all those divisions. It was like Chipper Jones. Objectively, you can appreciate what he did, and if he was wearing your uniform, you'd like it. But no one liked Chipper Jones.
I hated Chipper
right?
Jones. Yeah. I literally hated him.
He was constantly there and constantly performing and constantly doing. It's like, really? Again?
I never
great.
reached maturity level on Chipper.
No. But I think that's true. But maybe Chipper's a tough one just because he was. But Greg Maddux.
Okay.
Tom Glavine.
Greg Maddux, I could watch pitch a baseball game every single day of my life.
What do you mean, yeah?
That's
Aside
how,
from
that's how good he was. Yeah, although I saw him lose to the Phils in the NLCS.
Well, that's right. That's why 93 was so much fun.
That's right, yeah.
So much fun.
We were there that
Every
night.
time I see Tommy Green, I'm like, I would wear that on a shirt. All the time.
Or his driving distance, 318.
Yeah,
wear that on your shirt. Yeah.
I beat Greg Maddux, and I drive the ball further than you. That's the Tommy Green shirt.
The Yankees are that team, though, to me, that is a really special organization. Not saying, like I've said this before, if the baseball playoffs are going on and the Yankees aren't in it, I feel like something's missing.
Oh, see, I enjoy it when they're not in it.
I don't know why. To me, that's just, and that's the way I grew up. It's the way my dad taught me. The Yankees were just baseball. Like, they were the team in baseball. I like it now, especially if they're in the playoffs and it just feels right.
And they lose.
And if they lose, great.
That.
Yeah, that's fine, too.
I love that for them.
Yeah, it's, a lot of it has to go with, your part growing up, how big of it, were the Yankees growing up mid-70s. Like, I was a little kid. But late 70s and stuff, they were the team. They were the team
when
to
I was
beat.
growing up, which I didn't like them. I was just like, you're constantly here.
Yeah.
Like, really? Again?
Yeah, I don't know
Bored.
what it is. I don't know what it is. Now, my favorite American League team, if you can have one, are the Orioles because, my sister, ever since I was a little kid, she got married, lived down there. I used to go down there, and they would take me to games all the time when I was little. So I'm like, oh, well, these guys don't affect the Phillies at all because they never play them.
Right.
So, okay, I'll be an Orioles fan. Not like a fan, but, I appreciate the Orioles in the American League. Let's put it that way. All right, when we get back, I'll say it one more time, and this is the last time I'm going to say it. There's going to be a Sixer calling us, we believe. So we'll get on that. Also, more Phillies, more Eagles talk. 97.5, The Fanatic.
West
Welcome back. 12:46 here at the Fanatic.
Oh, we're good.
There's a lot of show going on there between the timeouts as Tyrone came in to talk some Joel Embiid and what's going on with the men's national team. Interesting. Jason Tatum doesn't get any run the other day.
Coach's decision.
And Kerr came out and spoke about it. He goes, that can't happen.
Yeah,
he goes,
obviously.
but I can't go more than 10 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he was honest about it.
There's only so many people you get in. They're still these guys have never played together. They had some warm-up games. Their final warm-up game against Germany was a good one. That's when everybody, not everybody, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you don't understand. I think the U.S. is in trouble." Kevin Cooney said it to me on Saturday. And I was like, "There's not a chance in the world that they even come close to losing to Serbia." So what about France? What about them? I mean, I know I'm overly optimistic, but I just think there's no chance in the world that they don't come away with gold.
There shouldn't be. You're right. There shouldn't be. It would be a monumental upset.
I'm overly optimistic, but I just see that team and think, LeBron James is 107 years old, and he does what he did. Yeah. Kevin Durant didn't practice barely at all, didn't play in any of the leading up games.
Comes back, and it's like, sorry, Jason Tatum, you need to sit down.
He has like 2 warm-up practices, and at one point was 8 for 8 in that game.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's nuts. Like, yesterday I was watching the girls' game, and I always is that a women's game? All right. I saw you make a face. I'm not. Like, you know me. I'm not offending anybody.
But it's just a girls' basketball.
But I do. I still do. It's like I'm back in high school. It's boys and girls. I call my boys. I don't say men. I say boys and girls. It's just. But watch them just a slower start as you expect. You're putting an all-star team together. These teams, this USA groups, men's and women's basketball, they don't play together until they get together. A lot of these other countries, those teams are playing together for a lot of time. They know each other a lot better. I mean, think about it. Steve Kerr looked at, looked
up and down his roster
and said, Jason Tatum, sorry, don't have time for you today.
I only get these guys. We're going to get you in the next one.
Yeah. And what we were just talking about with Ty was how we agree. And Ty and I talked about this, among others, and, Amy, you and I have obviously talked about it, about what you think of Joel Embiid being there. I said it from the very beginning. I love that he's over there. I couldn't think of a better place to be than surrounded by the best players, not only in your country, but in the world. You're seeing it all through their eyes, with their eyes, whether it's basketball or not. And you say, or not. No. Social settings, all of those things, how LeBron James carries himself or Steph Curry or all that. Nothing about that is not good. It's all great. Like we talk about when we were all kids and these professional athletes when they were kids, having talked to them about it. Where did you go to play your game? Wherever the best competition was. That's how you got better. You got your parents to drive you, rode your bike, jogged, whatever you had to do to go where the best games are. My God, Joel Embiid is where the best practices and games are. There's nothing in my mind wrong with it. Injury, okay.
He's rehabbing his injury at real basketball.
If you want him to rehab and play pickup games with the likes of one of my favorite people to come out of the Big Five, TJ DeLeo and stuff.
Good old
down
TJ.
there at the Sixth practice facility in Camden. If that's what you'd rather he be doing, well, I don't. Quite frankly, I don't know what to tell you, because there couldn't be a better place for Joel Embiid to be right now.
Yeah.
And, it's funny. I was watching the women's game yesterday against Japan, and Japan doesn't have anybody taller than 6'1". I think even that player was like a bench player. And there's Brittany Griner out there at 6'8".
Yeah, Griner, Breonna Stewart.
I mean, it was ridiculous. But if you look at it more so in that way, Brittany Griner's running up and down the floor because she knew to get herself down there before the ball so that they could get her the ball down there. If you really watch it, they're playing smart basketball. Yes, you're more talented, but how do you exploit the talent? You play smart basketball, and that's what Team USA did yesterday. The talent is what it is, but you still have to. I do, though, and I was reading a story about it yesterday, and Dawn Staley spoke of it. I wish to God Caitlin Clark was on this team.
She mentioned it.
She certainly mentioned it.
She's been playing really well, and I mean, it would also be a case of there might have been a game where she's Jason Tatum and just doesn't get in.
Could have been.
but at least it would have been nice to see the option. But she'll have her time. I have no doubt.
No, she will. She will, but, it's instant gratification.
Yeah, you kind of just like.
I wish. And Staley did say, she goes, look, we voted on it when she was 12
We should have probably
games,
taken a better look.
12 games into the NBA.
Yeah.
But here was the line that she said that really stuck to me. She said, yeah, now she's probably head and shoulders above. She fell short of exact, but I think above some of the players on this team.
Yes.
So just call it, nothing's perfect. We saw somebody, a gymnast, get hurt.
Oh, she hit herself in the face.
I think she fell off the uneven bars.
She's okay. Then she went and did the vault or something, but she had a big black eye, or not a big black eye, but she had a black eye and a Band-Aid on above her eye.
Yeah, it's not good for eyes and athletes. You see the McCann thing? Ray, I know you saw this. For the Orioles?
Oh, James McCann? Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he got aimed. He got hit with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Brushed the side. I can't even say brushed. Hit the side of his face and his nose. I mean, bleeding profusely. He got up, and you could still see it gushing out. Dude didn't leave the game.
His face post-game was...
His face post-game, his eye is almost completely shut.
Oh.
He's still got the stuff up his nostrils to keep the bleeding at bay. And finished out the game, and they're like, are you nuts?
No big deal.
What is, and he was kind of like, what are you going to do? Once got the bleeding under control. Had to switch his jerseys on the bases because it was full of blood.
Oh.
Yeah. God bless him. I don't know. I may have taken the rest of the day off. But you got to figure he knew his eye was probably going to shut. He knew that it was probably going to be a case he's going to miss a couple of days. Well, it's not closed yet. Let me just finish out
that'll be good.
And then they show him behind the plate. Now, his vision's got to be getting a little bad. One of his eyes is about to close because of the bruising.
Which is a bad.
He's got two things up his nose, and he's catching 98-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Which ball I'm going to go with? I don't know. I'll pick the one in the middle.
I got to tell
this
you,
one seems good.
That's my guy of the week. I don't care how the rest of the week plays out. He's already won. Yeah,
Rutschman need his game off.
Hey, so
that's true.
Austin Hayes.
Yeah, speaking of the Orioles.
Yeah, had he gotten off to Sir Anthony, one of his first pitches as an Oriole, goes through the backstop. I love that. But
they're getting the whole experience down there. Former Phillies relievers between he and Kimbrel right now.
Yeah, exactly, right?
They had Irvin come out of the pen last night.
Well, they're going to have Zeppelin coming up too, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's right. They just traded for him. Wow. Yeah.
They
Phillies
saw a lot that they
South.
liked about that 2021. Well, I guess you have to go back even for Zeppelin, but.
Phillies pitching staff south. But if Austin Hayes had gotten off to a start, what's he got, say, 20 at-bats now, maybe. Say he had 8-9 hits, say he was playing well, and you're like, whoa, does this 10-day conversation come up at all? Would we agree more? Because I got to be honest. So for you out there, Rob Thompson says he's going to give him 10 days, whatever. I didn't like it. I still don't like it that you just anointed. I don't care if the guy was, if he had been 9 for 20, 8 for 20. I don't care. I'm surprised that they did this. Could this be something?
That's why I think that he walked it back a little bit by saying there's a 10-day kind of evaluation period.
Okay.
Because Dave Dombrowski's the one that came out and surprised everybody, sitting there in the whatever newsroom, lunchroom, whatever that area is up there near the press box, and he's talking about, or offices, I guess it was. Yeah, this is we're done in the outfield. This is our everyday left fielder. And I think there was a pause. Wait, what? Oh, so you're going to platoon center field now. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I think the assumption was he's a left fielder and Brandon Marsh is a left fielder and he's been platooning, so he's going to continue to platoon with him because Austin Hayes, while has shown that he is a better hitter than he is this year when you go with the back of the, bubblegum card type of speech or whatever, he's not as good this year as he has been.
That's what I want to see.
It was odd that he was automatically anointed that, and then you hear Rob Thompson say, well, yeah, we're going to have an evaluation period. I don't know what happens at the end of it, but he says we're going to have one.
Rob's going to change his ways. He's going to go with the platoon left field. I can feel it. It's going to come up on the West Coast. We're all going to be happy again. Things are going to get better. All right, when we get back, I do have a question for you about Eagles practice so far. Now, it's hard to deem anything out of, training camp, non-pads up until today. Today they actually put the pads on, which is cool. But I have some questions for you guys about it, about Eagles training camp. What have you gotten out of it so far? What do you need to get out of it? I mean, we're a week in, no overreaction, but it's an honest question. What are you looking for? 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Amy Fadul with me, Bob Cooney all day, Ray Dunn producing, 97.5 The Fanatic. remember 12 o'clock, right?
Love that hour.
We had so much fun at 12 o'clock. Well, guess what? That hour was brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. So, Wayne, I know you don't put a timetable on the team's going to be practicing this long, so this is what I expect. And then after this amount of time, this is what I expect. I think our hope is that we never hear of injury, of
Correct.
a serious injury. Now, Tyler Steen's out a little bit. There's been some, nicks and bruises and hamstrings and stuff like that, but nothing major so far. But we're about a week in. Today was the first day of pads and hitting, live hitting today. So far, now you were on the air when Kellen Moore came out and spoke on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to that. We've heard various players, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. We've heard everybody talk, Vic Fangio. What are your kind of thoughts right now as far as how it goes for Eagles training camp? Are you overlooking it, underlooking it? Are they where you thought they'd be, even though they're not really anywhere? Like, where are you for this?
I would say that I've had some answers, some questions answered, some answers provided, not in like a definitive way, but one of the biggest question marks when we talk about of the summer, and I know we didn't. It's hard to harp or really go in all the Eagles when it's July 3rd, right? Because there's nothing doing. You're looking at OTAs and whatever. But we started talking about what are some of the questions you need answered during training camp. And one of the first questions was, of course, Jalen Hurts. What are we going to see? How well is he going to acclimate to this new offense? What is he going to look like physically? What is he going to look like in that offense? How is he going to be able to run it? And that was a question at least the forefront of my mind. I think it was a question for a lot of people out there. Is like, how is he going to bounce back? And early on, I know we're looking at a handful, 4 or 5 practices at this point. He's looked very good. He looked good in the OTAs. He looks good in the mini camp, but those are very small snippets as far as what you're able to see. Installation of the offense, everybody running it, et cetera, et cetera. I thought all of these winning kind of, words that come out right now about him, I guess the devil's advocate could say like, oh, well, of course they're going to say that. No, they don't have to say as flowery the words as you're hearing about Jalen Hurts. And it's not just the coaching staff. It's other people that are there being observant of the practices. And I think that's one thing that I was like, oh, well, maybe he is back on track. Maybe it is going to be 2022 more like 2022 than. So as far as like answering some of the questions, I feel like we're ahead of the game in one aspect, but then there's still a lot of questions on that defense. You have no idea who some of these, who's going to, it looks like Devin White has kind of been penciled in as one of the starting linebacking spots. Who's going to go beside him? Seems like they want to anoint Zach Bond, but they're waiting to see if Nakobe Dean can be that guy. That's a question. Obviously, the cornerback, there's been a lot of different names in there. The front seven, Josh Sweat. Love that he's going to change his number type of vibe, but there's still more questions on that one. So that's still a TBD for me.
He wanted to change it to 9.
To 9. I don't like this willy-nilly stuff anymore. Well, we all know who 9 is.
Wait.
I
Doesn't
know.
like willy-nilly.
I don't like it. You can't just, it used to be you had very strict parameters of your numbers.
I don't like it a little.
Now it's a free-for-all.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Hassan Reddick was 7 last year.
The team wouldn't allow him to be 9?
Well, you know why.
If this is the case, it's ridiculous.
Do you think they're going to retire it?
They cannot.
I mean, they could.
They could.
Your silence is...
They absolutely could. Should they is a different question, but they absolutely could do it.
They cannot.
They already have a statue to him. What's wrong?
Please. Look, I love that
they
won
better
the Super
retire
Bowl.
62.
I love that he had 2.5 of the best quarters of football that you're ever going to see. Please. You're not retiring the number. Now, if out of respect, you're going to give it 10 years of nobody wearing it?
See, that's dumb. I'm done with that.
It's dumb now.
It's stupid. Either you give it to Josh Sweat or you don't give it to anyone at all.
Correct.
Like,
if Josh Sweat wants number 9, Josh Sweat should get 9.
So now they have to retire it. If they told him no, they got to do something, right?
Can you imagine that conversation? And Josh is probably like, wait, what?
And some backup quarterback comes in next year and gets 9. What, are you waiting until you draft the next quarterback that wants 9? It's like, whoa, we're saving this one for, this is for a special player. If you're going to do it, now that it's gotten out there that you didn't let him change to 9, now you're kind of stuck.
Exactly.
Right.
If you give it up. The one thing we can't have is what we've gotten with number 35 in the Phillies, where Oscar Mercado wore it, and it's like, all right, well, if you saved it from Cole Hamels till Oscar Mercado. If you're going to do it, at some point you just got to do it. You got to rip the Band-Aid off, do it. I don't know if this is the case where I'm doing it, but I'm telling you that this is the case. I'm going to be honest. I'm not doing it.
You're not giving it to him because he's
no.
not
I mean,
worthy?
I'm not. I don't think I'm retiring it.
Right. Okay. If you were the head of Eagles number wearers,
right? Yes.
And Josh Sweat came to you, Ray Dunn, and you're the head of you make the call on this, and he said, "Yo, Ray, I want to wear number 9." Your answer would be,
"Here you go, buddy."
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you wanted to delay it a little bit and say,
no, because the longer you delay it, the more people expect something to happen, and then eventually, if you're not going to do it, somebody gets it. And Josh Sweat, in the grand scheme of players that could get it, is not the worst case.
Right.
Number 9, yeah,
Mercado getting it.
Right. You bring in a third
that.
quarterback in 2 years that's I'll take number 9, sure. It's that's a problem. This guy's fighting for the 53-man roster here, and he stinks. He's not going to be on this team long term. Josh Sweat, at least, he's had a double-digit sack season. We're hoping this season he dials it back up again. He's a starter on this team. He at least has a place on this team.
Yeah, I'm giving him 9 in a heartbeat. Sure, 9, you want it? Here you go. Jim McMahon's not around any longer. That was before your guys' time. Jim McMahon was number 9.
For the Bears.
And then he came to the Eagles and played that year. He was a backup to Cunningham, and Cunningham was getting older, and he replaced Cunningham. Just crazy.
Didn't go well.
Well, Mike from Delran has another thought here when it comes to number 9. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hi, Mike.
Bob, we're usually on the same page, but I'm 100% disagreement. I think that man needs that number retired because when you think back, if you ask some of the most memorable moments of me being an Eagles fan, it's always going to come down to when I watched Nick Foles hold that Super Bowl trophy.
Moment, not a career. A retirement should be a career.
I disagree. I think the moment was bigger than almost any of the careers of anyone that's got their jersey retired. I think Nick Foles number 9 needs to be retired because nobody else has ever done what he did. But I actually had a question for you, Bob.
Okay. How did Saturday go? Real quick.
Dude, great, awesome. Thanks for the text. Yeah, it was a great time.
Good.
I had these guys, Josh Tinley and Robin Gregg from up in New York, come down. They were pros, man. It was just a good night overall. It was
good for you. You're the man.
Thanks, Bob. November 2nd, put it on the calendar. That's the last chance this year.
You got it.
All right. I have a question, and I don't want to start the whole what the Morty show's been doing almost for months about the Sirianni Jalen Hurts thing. But when Jalen Hurts talked last week, did you notice or take any stock into the fact that he named everybody else by their first name except Coach Sirianni? Because when I heard that almost just added the fuel to the fire to me. I don't know. What do you think? Go Birds.
Thanks, Mike. Go Birds. I don't think he. I'm not going to say dislikes him. I'm not going to say that. That's a tough word. Look, there's people in this world you like being around. There's people in this world that you don't see eye to eye with. And look, if I had to put let's say, I'll put it in layman's terms as much as I was talking to my friends. Here's how I'm going to put it. I think that Jalen Hurts thinks that Nick Sirianni is I don't want to say.
I don't know where
the
you're
word
going
I was going to say. I think he thinks he's a
he's just not his type of guy.
That's exactly what I think.
Oh, well, that's different from
yeah, that's right. That's
I don't
a different
mean dumb
version
in
of
that way. I just mean he's not.
He's not his type of guy. This is the way you've said it a million times. It's the person that you work that when you show up at 9, they're there. When you need to see them throughout the day, you see them, and then at 5 o'clock, when the day ends at work, you go back home, and that person doesn't really enter the life outside the 9 to 5.
You had me nervous there for a little bit because you usually get here around 9. I thought you were going to say you work with them till about 2 and then you leave.
And you never talk to him again.
You record a promo and then you say, hit the road, buddy. All right, I don't want to see you anymore.
That's it.
Don't text me, lose my number. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Definitely don't go to his house.
Yeah, when Nick Sirianni walks into a room, I don't think it's a dap up hug. What's up? I think it's hey, coach. Yeah, I just don't think he's his cup of tea, and I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. I don't. If it affects the workplace, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's when it carries over. If a relationship that's not, buddy or whatever you want it to be, then carries over to something that affects them in their workplace, in this case on the field, then that's when it does come a concern.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's where some of it stems from, because people thought maybe the relationship was fractured last year, and that's one of the things that you thought, okay, well, maybe that's one of the reasons, one of the many, but one of the reasons for that, epic collapse at the end.
Yeah,
which it could have been.
Yeah.
Trying to get on the same page with someone that you don't necessarily, agree with or like or whatever you want to say it.
No.
No one's always going to like, people aren't going to like every single person that they work with.
No.
And that's okay. You can still work with them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if Nick Sirianni says, hey, practice is at 10 tomorrow, and Jalen Hurts is like, I'll get here 10:30 because I don't respect. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. But he respects him enough, I'm sure, to be like, okay, good. I'm going to be here at 8 o'clock like I always am. I'll be here 2 hours before practice. I'm doing this work because I respect this organization, this game. And yes, my head coach. Do I hang out with them? Do I want to go get a sandwich and a soda pop with them? Probably not. I'm just going to say they're probably two different personalities that aren't going to hang out all the time, and that's absolutely fine. There's probably many people in these offices that say the same thing about me. I might not know it because they don't tell me, and that's fine. That's what the work thing is, right? In their mind, no, I don't want to go to a baseball game with him, but he doesn't know that because I work with him every day, and we do our job. And, that's what it's all about. But Nick Sirianni getting back to talking between the lines and actual football stuff. I thought it was interesting. He was asked about the running backs yesterday. And this is what I thought was interesting also. Sorry. Adam Kaplan was on the morning show from Inside the Birds. And he was asked the most important acquisition by the Eagles this offseason was, he didn't say Saquon Barkley. He went with Quinyon Mitchell, saying, the different things, your number one draft choice, he has to start. I thought that was interesting. But Nick Sirianni yesterday was asked about incorporating the running game, particularly Saquon Barkley, into the passing game, running backs into the passing game. And this is what he had to say.
Sometimes you can force that to be a function of the scheme, and sometimes it is part of the progression. If you look around the backs around the NFL, I think you'll see a lot. They are part of the progression. The check down is a way they get the ball, but it needs to be both and we know we have the backs capable of being able to get the ball in the pass game, right? They're going to get their touches in the run game. They'll get their touches in the screen game, but then being part of that pass game, and we're looking forward to that with the guys that we have. The offense is still going to run, pass game offense is still going to run through Devontae, AJ, Dallas. Then who's the committee of the number 3 receiver? Who's the second tight end? Who's the back that we're trying to get the ball to start things off in the pass game?
There's a lot.
That's fine. And the only thing that I took a little when he said, when we get the backs involved in the no, please just say when we get Saquon
just
involved.
The one back is what we're looking at. I get did you want to be fair to everybody, but this is the time to be selfish.
Yeah,
it's Saquon Barkley.
Or if somebody has to come in for him for a play. Like, if
he's your feature back, he's your bell cow, he's whatever you want to call him, he's your number 1. Don't mess around with none of that Kenny Gall. I'm all good.
Yeah.
It's Saquon Barkley.
It is Saquon Barkley. There's no more Rashad Penny.
No, he retired.
He's decided to pretty much retire. Kenny Gainwell, love you. If we need you to give Saquon a break, great, cool. Kellen Moore, if you want to learn anything from last year and the year before, too, don't overuse Kenny Gainwell. Do not start series to begin a second half without your number 1 running back in the lineup.
Seems so simple. I wonder if Kellen Moore looked at some of that and went, wait, what was the thinking here?
Yeah, this guy, Boston Scott, I know you like him, but when you guys started the second half against Dallas when they were playing that backup quarterback, and it was a tighter game, why was your number 1 running back on the sideline and Boston Scott was starting the series to begin the second half? Whenever that gets explained to me, I'm not going to say I'll be a happy man, but I guess I'll be a more answered man. I don't know, but I just thought that was absolutely crazy. But I thought Nick Sirianni was pretty good yesterday. He was also asked, and I thought this was funny, today is the first day they're hitting.
Yes.
Okay? I'm not going to say there's not toughness out there when you're playing touch football. I guess there is. You're running hard. That's tough to do. When you're tired, to keep running hard.
Right.
That's toughness. But he was asked about toughness yesterday when it came to the Philadelphia Eagles and what's been going on, what he has been seeing so far.
We're looking for guys to play with great detail, great toughness. You know, I've seen the toughness really show up. I'll single out a couple of the defensive ends where I've really seen that toughness really show up, that physical toughness, that relentless effort. Patrick Johnson, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. I've really seen them hustling to the football. Just, you know, the relentless effort really and the toughness really shows up with those three guys, and been excited. You know, there is a lot of mixing and matching, and we're trying to get an evaluation on everybody as guys learn how to play together.
Has there been something put out by the players and signed by them all and given to Nick Sirianni that says, if you are not specifically asked about me, do not bring up my name, only talk about reserves? Doesn't it seem like it's gone that way?
I think that's one of those things. It's just a Nick Sirianni kind of idiosyncrasy, maybe.
But it's different than what he started. He started with the pictures of the players on his chest, and
don't
he's
forget
wearing
about us.
the starters' numbers that are hurt on his visor. What's this is a total turnaround, Aim.
Maybe that's a turnover of a new leaf for him then. I don't know. I'm just.
Or
I
has he
doubt it.
pandered so much he needs new material?
And he's running out of people to talk about. He's going to name every single player on the roster now.
I get is that maybe he's showing off? I'm the head coach. I can name everybody on this roster.
Or maybe he truly believes that
The other day he named 13 wide receivers,
and he was wearing a Kenneth Gainwell shirt.
Kenny Gainwell shirt. I saw that.
I don't know.
This is who he is.
I think that's what it is.
He's going to name every wide receiver. He's going to say core values 6 times in 3 questions. He's going to wear a Kenny G shirt.
Kenny G. I want to see him wear the trumpet Kenny G or whatever that guy played. What did he play?
The
Kenny
saxophone.
G,
the saxophone.
Was it the saxophone? Was it?
Yeah.
Are you looking at me like you don't know who I'm talking about?
No.
The
you
artist,
don't know who
Kenny G?
No.
Really?
Really?
Nope.
Oh, it's like a smooth jazz. It's just instrumental. Think Michael Bolton if he played an instrument.
Think of any musician if they just played an instrument.
No, but he is like that, that
He's a really good golfer, Kenny G. But go ahead. What were you? What is this turnaround of all of a sudden you have to name every air quotes non-essential player?
I think that's what
now.
he does.
Yeah, this is just who he is. It's Mount Union stories. It's core values. Apparently, in a 33-second clip, we worked in 8 toughnesses. He's not.
He gets on your nerves so bad with his press conference.
Not a particularly fun listen.
That's what I love. Listen. Well, we're going to listen to one more because it appears after that, and he names, we're getting toughness from the fourth backup on defensive end. It sounded like somebody asked him, Nick, exactly what's going on here in what you do. And so Sirianni had this to say.
You take all the information you're going to get, but at the end of the day, I have to make the decision. It's like anything, right? Any product that's out on the field, my name's on it, and that's my responsibility. So you take a little bit from everybody. You talk to the trainers, you talk to the sports science, you talk to the guys and see how they're feeling. You talk to the position coaches, see what you think their shape's in. And again, we came back in great shape. The guys killed the conditioning test. They crushed it. They came back with the right weights. And so we felt like we're in a good place right now to be able to push them. It always comes down to how the guys feel. And so I have to listen to a lot of different opinions of what everyone's thought is, because I'd be foolish not. But at the end of the day, I have to say, hey, this is what we're going to do today.
Did that not sound like okay, you're great at mentioning all the third stringers. What exactly do you do here?
Yeah,
is that one of those, Aim?
Well, no, I think it was when you have to really kind of push comes to shove and pinpoint something. I think you're going to get a lot of coach speak on something like that. Like that to me was like a non-answer answer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure, I do. Yeah.
Like trying to be like, hey, I really want you to nail down on whatever. And it's like, oh, well, let's have these really, very broad kind of strokes.
So how does that go? Hey, Vic, I was thinking, man, on that third down and +7, I was thinking that
No.
Yeah, never mind. I'll get back to you, Vic. And then he just, Fangio's just staring at him, and he kind of turns around, walks away, and says, "No, never mind. I'll
just be
let
over
me
here.
dip into something else." What?
Hey, Kellen, what's up?
Yeah. So, all right, we got some confusion here. Ray's giving me a look. There's a phone involved. I don't know
There's
if
a phone
somebody's
call.
on the line.
Seems like someone might be calling.
You say it out
us.
on the air. All right, what should we do here? You tell me. You're the producer. I can't hear you if you're just if you're going to talk in another. All right. Okay.
All right.
All right. We do have new Sixer Reggie Jackson on the line. Reggie, thanks so much for making the call. Welcome to Philadelphia. We don't have him on the line as of yet, but we'll get him on the line.
Get him on the line
in a second. Yeah, this is so. Just background because you don't think we're crazy here, although we are. Reggie Jackson had a press conference today. There's a whole bunch of stuff. They wanted him to come on with us right afterwards, but there was stuff that didn't enable him to do so, but he's nice enough to call us from the car now. Reggie, welcome to Philadelphia. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. Thank you so much. We have a mutual friend in one of your former coaches, Stevie Donahue.
Oh, man, that's great. Great. I'm happy to be back in the city and be able to check in on them, so I can't wait to reunite with my coach.
That's terrific. Stevie now coaching at Penn. But, Reggie, I wanted to ask you first question, and you kind of mentioned it. Why Philadelphia? Like this part of your career, how does it all go about for you during an off season that you can, kind of pick and choose where you want to go? Why Philadelphia?
Skies look nice and bright. So roster looks like it was shaping well together. Great coaching staff. It has a history of winning. Understands what it feels like to be the last one standing, and looks like just an opportunity to probably do something special. So, like I said, I like the way the roster group was put together. I loved everything that it had, and I was just happy to get a call that the team even wanted me to be on the roster, and I'm just looking to do something special with this team.
Hey, Reggie, it's Amy Fadul here. And when you're talking about this roster, and you look at it from the outside, and you see a guy like Paul George, who obviously you're familiar with from playing in the West out there, but then you see Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Was it the combination? Was it one particular move that they did? Because this roster was basically hand built this offseason. When you think about it, they re-signed Tyrese Maxey and brought back Kelly Oubre, but everybody else is there's a lot of new pieces to this Sixers team.
No, I think it's honestly the acclamation of everybody. Having a great core. Of course, the attraction when you get Paul George here to team up with, the MVP and Joel, and you got Tyrese Maxey, who's been emerging and just been taking off ever since he's gotten in the league. Once you have those three players, because it's a great core, but you have a Kelly Oubre, you get to sign an Eric Gordon, you get a Caleb Martin. You can go on. You already have Kyle Lowry, Andre Drummond, my best friend signs. Honestly, the team and the way the game of basketball is going, very positionless, very lengthwise, having guys that can do multiple things, but really defend. I think that's what everybody's seeing, even with Boston winning it the prior year or just this previous year, this season, and then being fortunate enough to be part of the Denver Nuggets the year that they won it. You got to have length, you got to have versatile players. So I think the front office did a great job of just trying to acquire as many guys who have a track record of winning, as well as a bunch of guys who also have a track record, I think, of playing in multiple roles and multiple facets. And that was the biggest draw.
We're talking to new Sixer Reggie Jackson on the Comcast Business Hotline. And, Reggie, you do mention that there are a lot of veterans on this team, guys that have been in the league about as many years as you have. Usually, if you're going to a team, and we've seen this with other guys, it's, here's a veteran that can help other things out. Do you look at yourself that way? Or, and I've talked to players that have been this, no, I just look at myself as a player looking to take care of the team and myself.
I think it'll probably be the second one. I definitely like to know that, like I said, the attraction is knowing that you got a bunch of guys who've won, a bunch of guys who've won in a different amount of roles, guys who have shown capability and the propensity to sacrifice throughout their careers. And I just like the gritty. I like the group. Like, honestly, I love that a lot of guys that I've watched over their career, how gritty they are, how determined they are, how a lot of them I feel, guess the term, is got it out the mud, the way that they play. We still have to go out here and do it, but I just like the possible mix of it, and I just see a lot of capability. So, like I said, it was attractive, and it was hard not to find.
Reggie, you have been that last team standing as you described it. What do you think it would be like? You've obviously played here in your career when you were with Oklahoma City and obviously the Pistons. Not as much now that you've been out west with both Denver and the Clippers, but this is a city that is a true basketball city, but they've been starved for a while. They've had some talented teams, but unable to get over the hump. What do you think it would be like to win something like that here? You've done it before. What would it be like here, you think?
I don't know if it's just a basketball city from the outside looking in. It's
That's
definitely,
true.
as much as I love sports, it seems that it's
We got them all,
sports
baby.
town. That's what I was like. It seems that y'all are a sports town, sports fanatic, and y'all support all your teams. So I know they're hungry. Unfortunately, rooting for Phillies this year. What happened last year, you could tell the support with the Eagles, seeing the Flyers, the way they're represented. So, and just playing basketball myself, being able to be in the NBA so long, the 76ers crowd. So you could tell this city is just hungry for a championship, and it would be something amazing to do. Would love to experience that and, share it with everybody. But I think that is also a great draw is the passion. That you're in a sports town. You're in definitely a basketball city. You're around a group that is really hungry, that understands what it's going to take. But, there's a long road ahead, and I just look forward to being in an atmosphere where you're expected to win, but at the same time, you have to come in each and every day to do your job, to give yourself the best chance, and you're going to be held accountable.
Reggie, we know that it's such a fraternity in the NBA, players, knowing each other, and all of that. But when it comes to coaches, what do you know about Nick Nurse? What maybe have from afar you've admired about him, and how do you best see yourself fitting in with maybe what you think he wants to do?
I think I appreciate his attitude, his demeanor towards winning, really his compete level. Everybody just looks a lot of times at the X's and O's that coaches have, but being able to be part of his game, I like to see their emotion. I like to see their approach. I like to see how they fight, for their players, for their team. And I've definitely enjoyed watching Nick ever since the Raptors. He had a pretty special group over there. Maybe not necessarily the sexy group that people would think, but what he was able to do and what they were able to accomplish, I really enjoy how he's used different lineups. He definitely seems like coaching this new era, thinks outside the box. And I really just appreciate the way he attacks winning. It may seem unconventional to others at times, lineups, things of the nature, but my whole thing is I really love to see the way I think the end goal for him. He's going to go about his process. He's going to believe in it. But the way he really fights for his team, fights for his players, and how ultimately the end goal is really in sight at all times. So that's one thing I've appreciated about it, noticing him throughout his career so far.
You mentioned the process, and of course, we got to talk about Joel Embiid. How much have you watched of the Team USA at the Olympics, and what do you make of having Joe be one of your teammates when the season starts?
I've played with a few MVPs in my career, so I've been very blessed. Happy to be able to play with the most recent. Hopefully, we can help him do something special, add something more to his resume, a championship ring. But watching him, I know he's been getting acclimated to Team USA. He's going to continue to get better each and every game, and I just can't wait to get to work.
Love it.
Well, Reggie, listen, we can't thank you enough for taking a few minutes. Want to welcome you to Philadelphia. We are always here as the flagship station. If you ever need to talk hoops, Amy and I are here 10 to 2.
Or Phils, if you want to talk Phils or Eagles.
Anything you want to talk about that
guy.
Wonderful college career you had in spite of Stevie Donahue, we're always here for you, buddy, and we appreciate you joining us.
No, I don't know if it's in spite of him. He's a big reason why I'm here. So
you're good, man.
I'll be talking to y'all here down the road.
Thanks,
good.
Reggie.
Thanks,
Much
Reggie.
appreciated. Reggie Jackson, your newest Philadelphia 76er. Okay, when we get back, we're getting ready to wrap things up, get up to the best show ever. You have Tyrone, you have Ricky, and I believe Tom Alvord today will be producing. So all that and a whole lot more when we get back. This is Middays. Amy Fadul with us today. I'm Bob Cooney, Ray Dunn producing 97.5 The Fanatic. I feel badly for the people not here because Amy was just doing play-by-play of Simone Biles on the balance beam. And all I heard was, it's not her best. No, this is, she almost fell. Wait.
But it's not her best event.
But she's smiling and everybody's going crazy.
Yeah,
so.
she still stuck the landing.
Oh, sure she did. She's Simone Biles.
Also fun, Team USA Rugby, the women, took home their very first Olympic medal ever. They got bronze.
Really?
They'd never gotten a medal before.
You know who's very happy right now? BP. Brendan Petrilli is a huge rugby. He's a coach. He was a player. So he had something up on the board earlier about rugby. Don't know. I don't understand all the rules of rugby. Do you?
No, it's kind of like football-ish. It's like watching cricket and being like, it resembles baseball, but not.
So I'm glad you mentioned that.
I mean, like,
I don't know if I've talked to you since this happened.
What, cricket?
So we went to an outdoor concert like last Thursday night, right?
Yes.
Just in a, like in a park, and it was a Jimmy Buffett like cover band, whatever.
Uh-huh.
There were guys at the end of not too far from us.
Playing cricket?
There's
a lot of them play up in King of Prussia.
Serious.
Oh, yeah.
So
like the full uniforms and everything, the wickets and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, you got to play with a wicket. You can't.
I don't understand.
You can't hack it without a wicket.
Yeah.
So, so we're there, and typical guy. I think there was 3 couples. So the girls sit together, the guys sit together. The band's facing south. My 2 friends are facing south. I have my chair facing them, looking north. And my one guy looks at me and goes, "You're not moving your chair to talk to us. You're moving it so you can watch that damn cricket game." I said,
"Want to see what they're doing?
Well, this is pretty cool."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you ever stop watching sports?"
No.
And I was like, "Wow, And man, a guy hit a moonshot. One of the guys wasn't a real good hitter. I was very disappointed in him. But the other guy hit a shot. Like, it had to go 300 feet, but it was caught. Is that an out in cricket?
Yes.
It is? Because there were still people, like, moving on.
I don't know. Why would you listen to me when I say I have no clue?
I thought you died.
I see if I say something with enough conviction. I assume
there any
it is.
summer sports you don't know the rules of besides, wait, which one did we just rugby? I don't know the rules of rugby.
So, yeah, I know what a try is, and I know you have to push it, you actually have to put it down. But there's all kinds of things about, like, you can go backwards with the ball. I think the ball, I don't know.
I thought you can only run so many feet before you either had to...
You toss it away.
Toss it up in the air or...
Yeah, well, then what about when they,
like,
get everybody... They have the scrum, which I understand what the scrum is. And then all of a sudden, out of the scrum, there's, like, a big, like, guy that comes out of it.
And he has the...
But they push them up really, really high. They practice, like, launching those guys. Yeah, they have this big thing where they launch these guys up, like, Dirty Dancing style. Yes.
Do they have the ball in their hand?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm assuming it's some kind of tactic to get the ball further down to where it's supposed to be. I know, because there's a couple, like, former NFL players. There's one that I know plays for Team USA Rugby who's done pretty well. And he's transitioned to it, and you have to, go and you push the ball, you put the ball down. It has to, unlike in ours, you don't want the ball to touch in the end zone. You have to make the ball touch there.
Yeah, you see them go down in the end zone and make sure.
You've got to go down.
Yeah, I remember in high school we used to play, like, Australian football. And it was something like you could run 5 feet and then had to pass it, and there was...
Yeah, what's the difference between rugby and Australian rules football as far as, like, where's the line divvied up?
I don't know.
Well, these are the inquiring minds do not want to know.
No. All the other sports in the Olympics, I think I might know the rules too. No, what do you're looking at me?
Trampoline, you know the rules to trampoline.
Sailing, you got to go as fast as you can. Whoever posts the fastest time.
How about canoeing? Do you know? That's also
probably the same thing. Yeah. I saw guys on man-made water falls yesterday or something. One dude almost went over.
I think they're called rapids.
Yeah, the rapids. Like,
the man-made waterfalls.
Yeah, he knows the rules of it. Doesn't know the name.
I assume the rapidity in the rapids is good. I don't think there's many rules there. Don't go underwater. Don't drown. And try to post the fastest time wherever they're telling you to go.
What's a good dressage versus a bad dressage? Horse
Again,
prancing.
it's got to be timing.
No.
Didn't you just say you didn't know fencing an hour ago?
Oh, yeah, fencing. I'm being... you're right. Fencing, I don't... Although Amy explained it well.
Beep, beep, beep.
Beep, beep, beep. So you have to get your sword to hit the beeper.
I think it's called something different, but yes.
It's not called a sword?
It is, but they've got different events.
Oh, they do?
Yes. It's not just sword.
I think you're totally making
Incorrect.
that up.
No, they do.
Really?
One's called sword. Yes.
If you were a gymnast, what would be your best routine?
I think is another one. Like my best event?
Event, yeah.
It's definitely not floor. I'm not flipping like that. My balance beam would be atrocious because I have terrible balance. So I'm going to have to go with, give me vault. I'll just launch myself
yeah?
and do something. I got nothing. No, I took gymnastics. First of all,
You did?
yes. And yes. I mean, a lot of little girls
It didn't
do.
end well, right?
No, I took all that stuff. I did my ballet to learn grace, gymnastics to learn, poise and some balance or whatever. I mean,
Did they know you were getting into sports or
I've
not?
been the same height. I'm just over 5'9" since I was 12.
Are you serious?
Yes. So you can imagine I was always in the back row. It was me and like two other girls. We were always in the back row starting at first grade.
Wow.
So I was always very, very tall
So you must
for
have
my
been
age.
proud of yourself when you grew into a show pony.
I would be very good at dressage, apparently.
Maybe.
The definition.
Yes. There is definitely a lineage there.
Gymnastics was like it ended when I would try to do the uneven bars, and I thought this is not good for me.
No, you were like John
balance
Travolta
beat.
in Greece.
Yeah.
They tried you in a variety of
Yes.
different things, and then it was finally like,
I lettered in track and field. Just like you did.
track
No, I
and field,
didn't.
and give her a stick in her hand and let her go.
Yeah, she'll be fine with that. Be
Yeah.
aggressive and just literally just beat people up.
Exactly.
Got it. All
Yeah.
over that part.
That's all Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Listen, when we get back, we're going to wrap it all up, take you to the best show ever. Fun-filled day today. We'll put a wrap on the Phillies, where we stand on them, maybe what we might need. Eagles just finished up hitting. That's right. They hit for the first time today, pads and everything. So we'll wrap that all up when we get back. I'm Bob Cooney with Amy Fadul, Ray Dunn producing. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. 1:51 here. Amy, good news.
Yes.
My buddy Duke just texted me. He's with the kids in the car. He said, we're listening. We love rugby, and we will teach you the rules.
Perfect.
All right. So I got a date.
I
with
showed you
my
the
friend
lift
Duke.
thing.
Yes, you did. You showed me the picture of the lifting. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It's very exciting.
I don't want to be that
Lot
guy
of
that's
air.
getting launched up into the air. And that's got to take some muscle, too, because those guys are huge that they're launching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, 1 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right, Ray, trade deadline is at 6 o'clock tonight. Anything of significance to report that you know of as of 1:52 right now?
Other teams made deals for relievers today. That's about it. Yankees
That's pretty much it?
picking up a reliever. Orioles just picked up a reliever. So, yeah. Teams making deals for pitching.
Will you be disappointed if the Phillies make no moves?
I'm okay if they don't
From
make
here
another
on out.
move. I'm okay if they don't make another move.
Aim, you cool?
I'm okay.
Yeah? Anything you need to see from the Phillies tonight? As we said earlier,
Yes, I need
Aaron
to
Nola on the mound against Garrett Cole.
7 strong. You got to. Cole had that elbow issue, so he's only made 7 starts this
Yes,
year.
8th one tonight.
I'm going to go ahead and need them to ring him up. I need 7 strong from Knowles. I'm going to need a Harper and a Schwarber home run.
Whoa!
That's right.
She went sushi and Italian. Like, she wants it all.
I'd just take a win.
Smorgasbord. No. I need to see the win, but I need to see these things. The win's a given.
Anyway.
A win's a given when you're 4-9 over your last 13?
I said what
This
I wanted.
Fadul, of what do you speak?
What I wanted to see is a win is a given that I want to see a win.
Okay.
I'm talking about specifics. I said before these series that there was the lock that you would have Bryce Harper homer against the Guardians and against the Yankees. So
1 down.
Let's go.
1 to go. I will make a prediction off of tonight's game. This is crazy. Someone in the Ray Dunn family is going to get a foul ball tonight. How about that?
I don't know where we're sitting, so if we're in the outfield, it's going to be hilarious. But yeah,
I
sure,
thought you it must have been somebody else. I thought you told me you were sitting down the first base line. My bad. That was somebody else then.
That's okay. Maybe I'll get a foul ball.
Have you ever?
Not at CBP. No. I think at Reading.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been lucky enough. Like I've had, or in my company, like 5 or 6 foul balls.
Yes.
Not odd. My brother caught one time. We were at it was a playoff game, and he gave it to the kid in front of him because the kid started crying before this was popular. Oh, I was so mad at him. I was like 18. I was like, what the hell are you doing? What if I started crying? Aren't you going to give it to me?
It sounds like you might be crying.
I was a little bit upset, but I am over it, Amy. Amy, so great to see you again today, and
see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. So we'll have the bar crew with you tomorrow. Can't wait to see you then. Stay tuned for the best show ever. Thanks, everybody.